Good evening, everyone. I'm very excited to see you in good spirits, and I hope that I won't ruin them in the next couple of minutes. Very excited for tonight's episode of Dice and Paper. It's been a week. I promise this one won't be quite as long as last week, despite how much I wish they could all be like that. This one's going to be of a more reasonable time. We'll try and end before midnight. But before we get into the stream proper, I think we have a couple announcements to make. Yeah, would someone like to take it away? Actually,
there we go.
I do have a little announcement of my own.
Go back.
Go back. Well, I'm thinking about it now. Two things, one before and one at the end. I said it like this, two things, and I almost went one before, one at the end. But no, the first one is, if you guys notice our audio sounds a little bit nicer, we're hoping it stays that way because we've gotten a new bit of tech that it should be at a reasonable level so you don't have to crank your headphones all the way up. We did that just because we love you so much, and also because we could. Anyway, would someone else like to start on our proper announcements?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So yeah, as I say every time, if you're looking for like a cool sort of word of mouth way to get the word out about the show, you can buy our merchandise. We have cool shirts with logos and quotes and references and just cool stuff that Trevor and Adrian design, and they're really neat. And there's like shirts and hoodies and socks and t-shirts, and it's just really cool and nice, and they're really comfy. I can confirm because Arthur gave me his last time. But yeah, it's a really cool way to support us and to sort of spread the word about the show. And there's links for that in the description if you're watching on YouTube, and in the panels if you're watching on Twitch.
All right. D&D Beyond, everyone. You know them, you love them, we know them, we love them. Yep, they're really cool. That's all I have to say. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't used D&D Beyond, seriously, it's a fantastic tool set for D&D 5e. It's all on your tablet, device, smartphone. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's electronic. You can't use it on like a cuneiform tablet or anything. Sorry. But
can you use it on a Wellcome tablet?
No.
Absolutely not.
Apple Watch? Apple Watch? Maybe.
We don't know.
I don't know.
Trevor.
We're not sponsored by Apple. Or D&D Beyond for that matter. But still, in all honesty, it's fantastic. We use it every single stream. We love it. They are the coolest people. We've gotten so much help from them.
They gave us cool stuff, yeah.
Yeah. We love you guys. Thank you again, D&D Beyond. Check them out.
All right, and I'm saying thank you to Tabletop Audio. You guys check them out. It's a free website. It's got a bunch of free music, a bunch of free sound effects.
What are you looking at? Looks like you're reading off like a prompt or something.
I'm looking at the Tabletop Audio.
Oh, okay, fair.
It just sounds really sad.
Yeah, it does.
Every time I do my intro, everyone laughs. No matter what I say.
Well, it's funny, no matter what you say.
Alright, Arthur.
If you guys
Happy birthday, Arthur!
Oh, yeah, happy birthday, Arthur!
Happy birthday, Arthur!
Happy
birthday.
Thank you.
We celebrated a little bit before stream.
That hat is for you now.
Yeah,
at least until the next
that
time.
That represents
I
you
thought
as
you meant
well.
the witch's hat. I was about to kill you.
If you guys are watching us on YouTube, make sure to check out the live show, 7 to roughly 11 o'clock every Friday, Eastern Standard Time. And if you guys are watching on Twitch, make sure to check out some of the previous episodes of Dice and Paper, as well as the perception checks, so you guys can stay up to date on everything we have. That is at Dice and Paper on YouTube and Dice and Paper on Twitch as well. You can also check out our social medias, Dice and Paper, funny symbol for...
No funny symbol on Instagram.
Okay.
Funny symbol, nope.
On YouTube.
At Dice and
nowhere
Paper,
else.
no funny symbol. Yeah, on YouTube,
None
nowhere else.
of our social media has a funny symbol.
Except
Okay.
for
So,
All
you
one
heard
word,
that.
no funny symbols.
You heard
fantastic.
that. Facts.
Anyway.
Just our logo.
And besides that, if you guys would like to sponsor us, hit us up on our email.
I don't think we've ever said no.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever asked for a sponsorship either, but I mean,
We
totally have so many
Yeah,
times.
we
D&D
have.
Beyond,
Sponsor.
sponsor us. Please, do it.
Just saying that name
Do
for
it.
no reason.
What? What's D&D Beyond? Oh, we love D&D.
Oh,
Please
yeah,
sponsor.
we
Do it.
Anyway.
Sponsor. Do the sponsor.
Anyone, like, you don't even have to like the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't even have to like our show to like D&D Beyond. It's just
That's
that
true.
good.
That's true.
Or
Yeah.
sponsor us,
Facts.
really.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
It's okay.
Anyway.
Okay, chill.
Alright, bring this back around to me. It's my time. Trevor time.
How selfish.
How selfish indeed. But with those less important announcements than what I have to say.
Wow.
With those announcements out of the way, I'd like to transition us back into the world of D&D. But before, as is tradition, we have a quick prelude. Their path winds ever forward. A stolen soul now lights the way, such a long way, to a destination believed, nay proven, to be irretrievably lost. Welcome back to Dice and Paper. Love that song.
Best
Say it every time.
Every time, man. Every time.
Can they make a better song than that? No, they can't make
Yeah.
a better song.
Absolutely
Facts.
not.
Facts right
Fuck you and your songs.
Maybe a trap remix.
Trapper. Pound and a pound.
That's so
I mean,
funny.
Someone has to make that.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
hate
no,
it.
it's
I'm
still-
not gonna lie. I'd listen to it.
I
I'd bump
would.
that.
I would bump that everywhere.
I'd be bummed.
So, before we get back into the game, Arthur, the birthday boy, would you like to do a quick recap of the events of last
What a
episode?
crappy present.
Would I like to? No.
No.
Will I? Yes.
Don't have a choice. I'm not asking.
GM's
Yeah.
telling you, buddy.
So, last episode, which I highly recommend just because of its length, just because of the amount of stuff that happened, and the inability for me to do it justice. Also, that was hilarious, Trevor. Good try. Tried to put a mic in on your
Rewind.
microphone.
Rewind
Anyway.
that and watch it.
I highly suggest you guys go check out that episode. However, we started on the boat. We were chilling out, maxing, relaxing. Busto talked to his little friend to provide safe passage for the group, getting to the Soul Snare. Once reaching the Soul Snare, the Called attempted to do a stealthy entrance. Failed miserably, might I add. Like, absolutely terribly. We got...
drew it through a window.
Yeah, I fucking ran
We,
through a
we
window.
killed something. We killed Forge. I mean,
Well, I'll get there.
I killed a forge.
no.
You showed up to kill the bad guy and killed one of your friends.
Graham
Yeah.
did more damage than you did.
I killed the bad.
That wasn't Graham, that was a boat.
Yeah,
Anyway.
That Graham was piloting.
Anyway,
Sorry.
we had a terribly unstealthy entrance. Got a little bit fucked. Not gonna lie.
The bad guy complimented my strength.
Yeah,
He did.
but we got riggedy wrecked in total.
Yeah.
Had a huge fight. Adrian, also known as Cal, left the fight like halfway through
That was not my choice.
to go fight a different fight.
That was not my choice. I was dragged
Cal's a
out.
little bitch.
Okay, I
where
fucking slapped you when you died.
Cal.
And then you died 4 more times that day.
You want to fight a fucking? Okay,
Guys,
whatever,
can I fucking thank you? We then, Cal and Forge had an amazing fight that I highly suggest you guys go check out. A boat killed Forge.
No, I did.
A boat killed
Because he had
Forge.
2 life.
And-
the boat hit him.
They got into a good fight, and
Yes.
then Forge was hit by a fucking boat.
Yes.
And then I
And
killed
then,
him.
and then Cal stabbed him in the throat with a
Yeah.
shard of glass.
Killed.
Can we emphasize that part, please?
Anyway, then
You get hit by a boat and see how much fight you have
the
left.
Soul Snare apparently released its.
Wait. You're in your fight. Forge gets hit by a boat, and you go to attack him, and he goes, wait. You gotta get hit by the boat too, or it's not fair.
Damn
I would have
straight.
died.
True.
I'm in danger.
Facts.
Kel just runs up and just headbutts the boat.
Let's let Arthur get through this.
Okay, sorry.
Once that fight ended, we had a fight with the Death Priest, the rest, us three, and then finishing, Cal came at the end. The Soul Snare released its souls, and the only real frame of reference we have is we know it is supposed to go east. That's it. We don't know literally anything else. So our adventurers now have to determine where the fuck they're gonna go now, and everyone else is dying, and I don't know why.
Because it was a funny joke.
I hate
You
all
know
of
our
it.
weakness is sex jokes and badgers.
I was
basically.
fine
Badgers
until
is
he
a joke.
started fucking.
And both of
losing
those
it.
things combined, dead.
Well, I don't think they should
Yeah.
ever
Just
be.
the only things I'd like to add are when the Soul Snare finished its work, you saw that the Death Priest you had been fighting created this multitude of these little tablets, these stone tablets that had this spectral hand floating over them, pointing towards the east, and the ravens that had been following your party for weeks and were roosting in the upper echelons of this tower swooped down and polymorphed back into a multitude of other death priests as you killed the first one. And then they all just sort of left, and you finished off the death priest. The tower began collapsing. But before any of that happened, you had a bit of a standoff situation where the death priest fired a disintegration beam through a wall and killed someone.
Did the beam hit?
And
the
there's
boat?
2 members of the party that it could have killed. Luckily, none of us 4. However, it's either Graham or my boy, Wolfie.
Oh, and I also have one more very important thing to say.
You're a dick.
Guys, it's a Mike and Ike and Mike.
Oh my fuck.
Get the fuck out of here. No,
Alright,
get
the
out.
show's over,
Yep.
everyone. We've ended it.
Not just
Thank
this
you for
episode, the whole
watching.
thing.
Yeah, the
We're
entire
done.
one.
No,
we're done
we're
with
done.
the fucking thing.
Yeah, dice and paper, GG.
And that's where we're gonna end it for tonight.
Forever.
We'll see you next week.
You said it'd be shorter.
Yeah, you did say that.
I just say 14 minutes would be our shortest stream ever.
Hey, fair enough.
We didn't do past midnight. We're
Okay.
good.
So, with that out of the way, I would like to rejoin our heroes. And where we're gonna reopen is, it's not right where we left off last time with, oh yeah, that's another important thing that happened last time is, after you killed Forge, he continued to talk to you. And he recounted you a tale of what happens after death, and promised you he would make you pay.
He did that?
Something along. It was less direct than that. It was more of an implied threat, but
Okay, yeah,
it was a whole long monologue that I don't want to go through again. But let's get right back into it. So,
Just tell me you fucking died. I don't want to get into it. I just want to get to that part.
a single length of blue fabric waves in the wind, tied atop a small, nameless grave marker. It's been around half a week, and your group is currently holding 2 funerals. Neither grave has a body below, one having disintegrated at the hands of a malevolent force, while the other was left to burn at the Church of the Dead God. So instead, your group has planted 2 simple grave markers atop a small forested bluff overlooking the sea. While the grave of Feldus Bonaventure, otherwise known as Forge, has been adorned with Nick's small gift, I'd like to allow you, Orion, to decide what you left atop Graham's ashes.
Thank God. Oh my God.
What
thank
the fuck
God.
do you mean? Thank God it's still sad.
It's
I
not
thought it was gonna be
Wolfie, though.
Wolfie.
It's fine, it's a dog. I'm kidding.
What I left on his ashes?
I would like... There's a grave marker, but if you would like to leave a personal artifact in his remembrance,
Yeah,
I'd like to allow
his
that.
fucking ashes. I put the music box on his ashes.
Oh. Did you wind it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say...
No, fuck you. You get to keep your wolf.
So Orion steps forward.
Graham's not a wolf.
Orion steps forward and places
my
the music box atop Graham's final resting place. And you all sort of step back in a little line at the edge of this forested cliff. to take a moment to observe the twin graves. You hope that they will be at peace.
We're derailing the campaign. We need to get a resurrection spell to save Graham.
You know,
Billy 2.0.
Oh no.
A long time ago, 30 years ago or so, I had a wife. And she passed away. Kind of like that.
Yeah.
And, there's been a reason I needed to go to the swamp, guys. And she's one of the reasons.
I know, buddy. I can tell.
I need to go back as soon as we can.
First thing.
Hey, do you want a hug? Okay.
I'm gonna go back on this shit.
And Orion wordlessly turns on his heel and stomps back towards the ship that you guys have spent the last 3 or 4 days repairing, which is now drifting sort of listlessly 12 or 11 feet out into the harbor where you've tied it up to a little tree at the bottom of this bluff. And you see him hop on board, greet Wolfie, who's up on the tree, up on the boat, and just go straight below deck. Leaving the 3 of you alone at the 2 graves.
Take a long rest.
You guys may all take a long rest. It's been a couple days.
Fucking Christ.
You guys, I mean, well, what after? I guess a quick recap of stuff that has happened afterwards. Before you left, the tower started to kind of crack apart, but Cal also lit it on fire, I think. Or at least you lit.
I lit Forge on fire.
You lit Forge on fire, and I'm gonna say it kind of spread throughout those like rose bushes that were left behind. And the entire tower in the last couple days has collapsed into the sand. And then that left you guys basically stranded on this beach because your boat was trashed. And you've done your best to repair it, but you can tell without the touch of a master like Chesnick, it's not really the same as it was. But it is passable. You've taken a couple days and you've managed to bring it out into the harbor or out into the water and back to the beach without it leaking. Well, it leaks a bit, but it hasn't sunk. So you think you are prepped to head back to Chelicek, and I think make your way back to Oakstead or wherever else you wanted to go.
One thing I'm gonna do before we leave is I'm gonna walk up to the base of the tower, and using my dagger, I'm gonna scoop up the ash and put it into a little pouch on my side.
All right.
Of which?
Just ash from the tower.
Oh, from the tower. Sorry, I thought you meant from the body. Ash.
No. Actually, that's a good point. Did we bury the ashes, or is it just a grave?
Forge's ashes?
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you? Tell me.
I'm gonna keep them until we go back out to sea.
Okay.
I would say that grams are in a pile if I put something on it.
Yeah, I was thinking you buried them underneath the grave marker, but if that wasn't what you would do, I suppose that's not what happened. Oh yeah, another thing that
Covered
happened
with
last...
stones.
I wouldn't cover ashes. I'd sprinkle them.
Oh yeah, Graham's ashes, isn't he?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Disintegration is a very...
Asshole thing to
It's
do.
a very brutal sort of spell. One where if you fall to 0 hit points, you don't get to make death saving throws. You just die.
Disintegrate.
You disintegrate into a cloud of fine ash. There's only a couple spells that are like that.
He had one.
Yeah, it's one of his main things. You've seen him demonstrate it before.
Bitch. So is the guy that controlled him.
We're gonna fucking kill these guys, don't worry.
So, what do you guys want to do? What is your intentions?
Are there any stones from the tower?
Yeah, it was as it kind of collapsed, it lost that obsidian sheen and ended up as basically just a smooth sort of granite. But yeah, there's still it's basically just rubble at this point. But you could go in there and pull it out. The tower in the center, that little pillar, appears to have just completely vanished with the collapse of the tower. It's almost like it wasn't there at all. It's just gone.
All right.
But the stones that made up the tower itself are still there.
I just like to pick up one.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. You can go ahead and mark that down. So So can I assume you're heading back onto the ship?
I'm already below deck.
Before we do that, weather report.
Oh yeah. I'd say actually here's a good reason you did this now. I'm gonna say you already did a weather report, and you can see that coming up tomorrow, you've got a clear day with some fairly strong winds going north, which you think will be pretty helpful to
That's
getting
really
home.
good. Yeah.
That's really good.
So are everyone? Just actually no, it's just you two, right? Because
Yep.
We're heading straight back to tow check, right?
Yeah.
But we need to return this boat to.
Mhm.
No, we don't. It's ours, isn't it?
We did, but we're renting it, right?
We're renting it.
We're
Yeah.
renting it.
Okay, yeah, we don't want to fucking betray that trust. Okay, yeah.
So,
we'll
yeah.
bring it back and get our caravan and.
Are we going back to Oakstead or like?
Let's get on the boat and talk to Orion
Okay.
about where we go next.
Sounds good, yeah.
All right. The other three of you get back onto the boat and begin prepping it to sail. I'd say it's sort of a menial thing while one or two of you goes to find Orion. Unless, Busta?
I'd like to do two things. Can I cut one of the roses?
The rose is burned, I'd
Burned,
say, in
all
the
of them?
fire. You could find ashes, but
Okay.
you're probably not gonna. They were magical creation anyway, so I think they would go away at some point.
Oh.
So
And then
Probably
the
not.
next question is, can I try to cast Druidcraft and see if a rose would grow?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. In the days following the collapse of the Soul Snare, the environment it was in has sort of started to shift back towards the normal. Animals have returned to the area. You've seen a few rabbits and even a deer around in the last couple of days, and the grass is almost becoming noticeably greener.
Are there
as
there
time goes
still a
on.
lot of ravens, or are they dispersed?
No ravens that you have seen. Some birds, obviously,
Right.
but
The seagulls or seabirds.
you haven't seen any ravens.
All right.
Last one was rust. This time is ravens. I wasn't
Rust
even in
and
the last
Ravens.
one.
If I ever write a book, Rust and Ravens.
Rustin Ravens.
Rusty ravens.
I would like to.
That one's bad.
I'm putting on my sunglasses so I can say no.
All right.
Well said.
Douchebag is.
This
Tom
is sort of a
Cruise.
retcon.
Yeah.
But could I have used plant growth during the time we were here? The 8-hour version of plant growth. It just basically, if you cast a spell over 8 hours, you enrich the land. All plants in a half-mile radius centered on a point within range become enriched for 1 year.
Okay. Yeah. No.
Oh, that's so
I'm gonna say
sweet.
you guys don't have to worry about retconning things. If you want to, there have been something you were doing in the last couple of days, along with trying to fix the boat and figure out what to do. Feel free to speak up and let me know. I'm gonna say, Busto, you definitely were spending a couple hours every day, boosting the life around you, and you can actually see the evidence of those. Would you have done it more than once? Like a couple times?
definitely.
I'd say you can see these sort of patches that have already started to spread out, even from the regular regrowth. Just these spots where, along with the dried grasses sort of returning to vitality, you can see some small flowers and like almost a noticeable increase in like dew and dragonflies moving around. But the area actually is starting to look fairly normal again. You almost swear the trees are shifting back into proper alignment.
What time of day is it right now?
Time of day? I'd say it's around afternoon. It's kind of that
Okay.
gray, like you know where it's cloudy, so the whole sky is just gray.
Yeah.
It's sort of like that.
Okay. I was thinking it was night for some reason.
I'm gonna go down to Orion
All right.
in the lore.
Yeah. So I'd say Orion. Let me know if this isn't what Orion would be doing, but I'm gonna say you find Orion just like down in the gully of the ship, just on one of the benches, like head in his hands and his elbows to his knees, just sort of, just sitting there.
That's very close, similar to what I was thinking of.
But Orion, while you're sitting there, you just hear a sort of soft and
No
Cal
reaction.
just descends down this very steep staircase into the fairly unfurnished bottom of the ship.
Hey, bud.
What?
I'm gonna sit. Can I sit down next to him?
There's this sort of almost more than like just the feeling that he's there. You can just feel this presence next to you as Cal sort of plops down into the seat. You can tell he's looking at you, even though you're staring at the floor.
You know, we're gonna do everything we can to get you to your swamp, right?
We're gonna go to the harbor, telecheck, and then there, right?
And then there, immediately. I promise.
Okay.
Can you tell me why you want to go?
Once we're there. I promise.
Not right now.
Not yet.
Okay. Well, just want you to know that we're all here for you. And we're a team, so if there's anything that you need further, then just ask, okay? I'm gonna give him a pat on the shoulder and walk away.
Yeah.
Back up.
Cal, I'd say something you notice too while that you're there is it's not foggy outside, but it is foggy down below in the boat. There's this sort of, it's almost imperceptible, but there's just this thin silver smog in the lower part of the ship, almost just centered around Orion.
That is so cool.
I'm gonna be a little bit
You're
late.
on a roll with this last few episodes, man.
That's what I do.
Because I feel like I'm piecing stuff together. Doesn't happen to me very often.
I'm just gonna look at it a little bit confused, but other than that, I'm just gonna walk back up onto the deck.
All right. Yes. So you guys, you head back up to the top where Busto and Nick are currently waiting. I'd say they've gotten the ship pretty much ready to go by now. And you see sort of, they sort of, I'd say they're kind of looking at you expectantly when you come back up. And you guys just see Cal comes up and he's almost just like a little shell-shocked almost.
All right, let's get going. We need to get back.
Can I just do one last thing?
Sure.
With one of the buckets, I'd like to just put as much dirt as possible into them.
From where?
The beach.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's a weird noise. Yes,
Is it
absolutely.
dirt or sand?
Dirt.
It would, I'd say if it's from the beach, it's going to be sand. If you head in a little ways, you can get some dirt.
I'll head in a little ways.
All right.
I have a question too. Did Orion leave like his fishing stuff on the boat? Like,
Yeah.
can I fish when we go?
Sure.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I don't remember exactly what I had, but with everything, I think it's like a net and 2 poles.
Awesome. Well, I can only use one, so it's more than enough.
Well, I was thinking you were gonna like throw the net out and then not be able to grab it.
Nick just on the back of the boat, 2 fishing poles in hand. That would be, or maybe you kind of need a hand to like reel it in. So maybe
yeah.
a fishing pole in one hand, a free left hand, and a
She
fishing pole in the mouth.
she
mouth,
wouldn't.
yeah,
She
yeah,
wouldn't think that
absolutely.
far ahead, man. She'd have 2 in the hand, and then she'd get a fish, and
Just be like, oh shit.
yeah, then
Wait a second.
and then she'd get 2 fish, and then you're really fucked.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
true.
you can't just
Then,
put
then
one
you
down.
then you just flip it around. You put the little windy things together and just go.
True.
Like that.
Like do a little, yeah.
IQ 8000.
Well, even more. This is my headcanon for this. You would flip it around, go, and then go, Cal, come here, take
Yeah.
these together.
Yeah.
And never think to be like, Cal, reel this in.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I'm fishing. I'm trying to fish.
Okay.
Right, so-
If you want to go ahead and roll a survival
Are we
check
pulling
for
up
me.
the anchor? Are we off?
Yeah, absolutely. If you would like to head out,
I may not know this because I can't predict the weather, but
Yeah.
with the wind, how long do you think it'll take us to get back?
You're not going with the current, but you do have the wind on your side now, so it's going to be in the range of the same amount of time. It's
like
about 3 days.
Oh, 3 days.
About, I'd say it's about 2.5. It was about 2 to get down here, so about 2.5 to get back. Just by the way, we aren't going to do quite as long-winded a journey as we did to get here because you're going back the same way you came.
All the same stuff, people.
So of course we will talk about what happens, but we're not going to go day by day by day. We're going to kind of just go in the relevant moments.
I have one thing I want to do at Telejek.
Okay.
Just stating that.
I'm gonna call over to Busto.
Not a big thing, just a small thing.
Busto, you mind helping me raise the anchor? Thank you.
I got a 14.
14. So I'd say, yeah, no, you, as the ship starts to head off, I haven't had much to drink today. I'm very, very, very thirsty, and it's really hard to prevent myself from just drinking randomly throughout. I know, I really know. You forget though, I am in the unique position. Y'all morons have to wait. I can just call the break whenever the hell I want.
I know.
It's like, if I'm like, oh man, I don't really need to go to the bathroom, but I could see Arthur's over there like that. Like, I can just be like, hey, I want to make Busto suffer for a bit.
But you only get one.
I do only get one. That's
so
true.
you do it too early, then you got a long time.
It's really like it's like a chess, like a
Right,
chess sort
yeah,
of
you
thing.
sort
I
of
gotta
have to plan
strategize.
it out. Yeah.
If he wanted to get up and leave, though, we all have to wait. We can't just like go on to somebody else.
Oh yeah, hang on guys. I want to go take a nap in the corner of the room there. Maybe play some darts, Maybe both. I don't even know.
Maybe.
Anyway, we've gotten off track. I would say, Nick, with a 14, it takes it takes a little while. I think maybe you went into this with the expectation that you just toss it in and pull a fish up. But it's like a good half an hour before you get a bite that you don't immediately lose. But you actually pull up a decent-sized fish. I'm gonna say there are like regular fish in this fantasy ocean, but there are also some pretty
Cool fish.
weird sort of fantasy fish, and I'm gonna say this is one of them. It kind of looks, well, it almost looks like a sea serpent, but it's really small and it has this split tail, sort of like a seal. So it has these two things that move at the end, and then there's this big like reptilian head at the top, which is just clamped right onto your bait.
What you're telling me is you have an eel.
It's like
It's a really cool eel.
It's like a
Arthur,
scaly
shut
eel.
up.
It definitely has scales like a fish, and it does have defined like pectoral fins and that kind of thing. It's just long and kind of weird and bitey.
Okay, so wait. Yeah, I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna bring it down to Orion.
All right. Yeah. I'd say Orion. Orion is spending most of this journey. We're in like a little while now. I'm gonna say. Orion's spending. It seems to be. How do you think Orion is spending this, Nate? Below deck, just kind of.
Below deck, trying to get some sleep.
Okay.
Probably not having the best time at it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, Nick, when you head down there, you see Orion is lying on his back on one of the wooden benches, and he pretty clearly isn't asleep because he's just sort of breathing pretty shallowly,
Yeah.
but he's just lying back and he's got his hands over his eyes like this, just sort of comatose.
Hey Orion! Hey Orion! Orion!
What?
Look what I got! Orion, look!
It's a fish.
Yeah, I fished it!
God.
I'm gonna say, to kind of add to this image, it's not dead yet. Like you're kind of gesturing around with it, and it's like flailing, trying to bite you.
Do I know what
the
kind of
boat.
fish it is?
You've never seen the ocean?
That's true, but I've been fishing this whole trip. If I caught him.
Oh, you
shit,
haven't.
shit.
You've. I'd say. As someone who's hunted a lot, Orion, I'm gonna say you don't recognize the fish, but you recognize its impact. And a lot of the fish you pulled up had these big bite marks and that kind of thing that look like they could go for this kind of thing. You would guess it is some sort of a predator.
So it's
in
like
these
the
waters.
equivalent of a barracuda?
Yeah.
So it's something like
I'm very much picturing a barracuda.
it's something that
yeah.
could hurt her.
If it could get its jaws.
Does it look like it might be able to?
It looks like it's drowning.
Okay.
Is she down in the...
Yeah, I went down. Isn't this
It's
just
also
like
getting water
Isn't
everywhere.
it the coolest thing you've ever seen?
Yeah.
Oh my god, can you believe that I got that?
No.
Oh my gosh! It's like, oh my god. I was totally like thinking of you when I got it too. I was like, Orion will be so proud of me! And you are, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna say the head just sort of whips around to look at you, Orion, and just.
How close is it?
Nick, how close would you flail this thing?
Oh, like really close.
Yeah, so it's like right in your face.
I'm gonna try to cut its fucking head off.
Go ahead and roll.
The ace.
Oh. Wait, plus with plus 8,
Strength?
so 11.
11. Yeah. No. So I'm gonna say you don't get that clean decapitation you were going for, but you do gouge a pretty big hole through it. You basically just slit its throat.
I just want
and
to fucking
now,
kill it.
So now it's flailing around. It's bleeding. It's not just. But you can see it's going to expire pretty soon.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool. We did this together. Do you want to cook it? Because I don't know how to cook. Okay.
You are both covered in fish blood.
So like,
Perfect.
what do I do with it now?
Throw it back.
What?
Throw it back.
But you already killed it.
It's got no meat on it. It's all bones. Throw it back. In my opinion, throw it back.
Okay, well, can you chew on the bones?
No.
Can I chew on the
You
bones?
can choke on the bones. They're this big. And from a 2-foot person, that's pretty small.
Are these not? Are these not like crunching bones? Like per se, these aren't crunching bones.
I don't know, Nick. Why don't you go show it to Cal or Busto or something?
Yeah, but they don't know as much about like killing stuff.
Yeah, but Busto knows a lot more about animals, I bet.
But I don't want to show him something that you murdered.
Well, tell him I did it, and he'll be fine.
But you did do it.
Exactly. Just leave me alone.
Okay. I'll go back up and I'll show it to Busto.
Oh shit! I don't really think you should do it.
I'd say by the time you get up to Busto, it isn't in death throes anymore. It's sort of limply, like it's still kind of breathing heavily, but it's just sort of the fountain of blood has just turned into this sort of flow. So I'd say you basically just create like a trail of blood up to Busto, and then just show him this limp, just like.
While she's showing it to him, could it just like fall in half from the.
I'd say yeah, the head. You kind of hold it out like this, and the head just tilts backward and just. And then it just stops.
Busto has an
moving.
aneurysm.
Hey, Busto.
Wisdom saving throw.
Medicine check.
No
You're
fucking
not putting
way.
this fish back together.
You got
I failed.
Yeah, you got a 4.
Plus 9, 13.
I
You
mean,
know it just
you,
can't
like,
be
take
revived.
The head and like, and you just see it just. Like it is solidly dead.
Orion killed this. Do you know which part I can eat?
No.
Okay, I'll ask Cal. I'll save you a bone if you want to crunch.
No.
Okay.
Wolfie does seem interested in the bones.
No.
Wolfie's kind of like.
Can I not give
No.
one to Wolfie?
No.
Okay. Sorry I asked.
Graham might
It's-
know. Oh wait,
It's okay.
he's fucking dead.
Jesus Christ.
You people like to kill
Wow.
things.
Well, Orion does.
Yes, he does.
I'm gonna bring my fish to Cal.
Another trail of blood
Hey,
across the
Cal.
deck. It's like what was the kid from that comic strip who always left the footprints all over the
Like
place?
Linus? Is it Linus?
Oh,
from-
yeah, yeah, I know
It
you're
was from
From
Family
Pe-
Circus. No.
Oh no.
It was the
No,
thing.
no.
They always had these strips where it was like
Then I don't know
the
it.
footprints leading to each
I don't
thing to
remember
tell
the
a
name.
story.
All I can think of is like St. Patrick's Day with.
I can only think of Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless, there's about now basically just a trail of blood of Nick bringing this fish to different parts of the boat.
Hey Cal.
Yeah, what is it?
Holy shit.
Like, so how would is this like edible?
I would say use it as bait.
But like,
It seems pretty predatory, but you might get something.
but is there no part of this that I can like maybe even crunch on?
I would not try to eat a bone,
Why?
because you're going to choke.
I've crunched up bones before.
Bones this small?
Oh, okay.
The exact same stuff. Oh.
So like, what do I just throw it back in and see if anyone comes to eat it?
Here, let me see it.
Okay.
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna spend like a minute cutting off as much meat as I can off the edges of it, just to get little chunks of meat.
Yeah.
Like a little fillet.
No, just little cubes.
Yeah, no, it is very much a muscly, not good for eating
Yeah.
kind of fish.
He didn't even have to tell
I'm gonna
me
give her
for
a
me
handful.
to say that.
Oh, nice.
There you go. And I'm gonna take the bones and just fucking throw them over the side.
Oh.
Now put those on the hook and hope something snaps.
Okay, I'm gonna go do that.
She's gonna catch 10 fish and bring them all down.
Now, Nick, I want to ask you a question because I have a kind of funny idea for a scene. Would you bring the next thing you catch? Would you bring it to show Orion? Again?
Yeah.
All right, Orion. I'm gonna
A
say
montage of like circus music.
no.
Goes in the back. Just
I'm gonna say about. Oh, I'd say only around 20 minutes after this one. You hear a, and Nick comes patting down with a second, substantially larger version of the same fish she caught the first time, and she just looks thrilled with this thing.
Can you believe this? This is so crazy.
fucking can't believe
Oh my gosh, can you?
This one's big enough that as it's flailing around, you can see it's like actively moving Nick with it as she struggles to hold
fucking
it.
hell, dude. Like,
This is so cool.
I got one more. 14.
Oh,
No, 12. That's what I meant. 12 to hit.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, but do you want to do a sort of in-universe explanation for why you're having trouble with this? You're kind of not really looking, you're just grabbing your axe and like flailing it off the side of the bed. Yeah, I'm gonna say Orion gets a good 2 or 3 cuts on it, and it just like much quicker this time, just sort of flails more blood around the cabin, which I'd say it had sort of started to dry and stop smelling like fish blood, and it just puts a whole
If
new
you
batch.
catch
Hold on,
another
let's see.
one, cut the line.
Cut the line?
Cut the line.
Wait, why?
Because just don't bring it back up.
Wait, what? But I thought you loved fishing.
I love it when I fish, not when you fish.
Okay, but isn't it cool though?
No.
Like, isn't he so big?
Not even a little cool. I feel
See?
like,
He can talk!
oh my fucking god.
Orion, just take a bite of it.
I'm gonna lock that fucking door.
Oh my god! I'll bring it back up to Cal. Hey,
Is
Cal.
there a lock on the fucking door?
It's not even a door, bud. It's just a
Can
door
I go
thing.
behind a door?
You can. The bench is open. They're like little compartments.
You
You
can
can
go
go in
into
one of the
the
benches. It's really small though.
I'm really small.
Really, really small.
Sure. If you want to
No,
go in,
I
one of
don't
the
wanna go in
benches.
That'd be so
I
With
just
the
wanted to leave me
fucking
alone.
boat equipment. Yeah, no, Cal, I'd say about 30 minutes after you sent Nick off with the bait, she comes back with a larger version of the same fish. This one
Mutilated.
This one a little bit more mutilated than the first one.
What are you just gonna do the exact same thing with that one now?
Wait, what? I mean, I did exactly what you told me to
Hey,
do.
give me the fish.
Okay.
You should light it on fire first.
That was my fish. Why did you do that?
Because it's useless. Go get you another one.
Okay.
Not that same one.
Well, how do I get a? How do
If
I
you
get
see
a
the
good
same,
one?
if you see that one, it's the same, and it comes up on the hook, take it off, throw it back in the ocean. Stop killing them for no reason.
Well, I don't kill them. Orion kills them.
Well, stop bringing them to Orion
But
to
I
kill
just
them.
want to cheer him up.
Well, get a nice fish, and then you'll cheer him.
Okay, I'm gonna try to
still
get a
highly
nice
doubt that.
fish.
Go ahead and make a survival check for me.
7.
Those little dice are so bad.
7.
No, sometimes they're good.
Well, for the nature of this sort of survival check, it's much more of a how long does
Time,
it take
right.
than a do you do it or not.
2.5 to 3 days.
No, I'm gonna say it's a couple hours this time. It's long enough for you to kind of go from expectantly waiting by the line to just sort of sitting on the bow of the deck, maybe twirling your
I'm
dagger.
gonna pass
around
her up a
little.
couple times while she's sitting there really bored. Be like, fishing's still fun, huh? And I'll just keep walking around. Whatever I'm doing, I'm the
Probably
boat.
cleaning the blood off the deck.
Maybe-
Yeah, just like.
Maybe piloting the boat once.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe
you don't need to
wanna
stay.
leave
You don't
your
need to
post.
stay on the helm though. As long as
No,
you keep it in place, you can.
as long as it doesn't wiggle around too much, you're pretty much fine. Yeah, I'm gonna say, Nick, it's like 2.5 hours before your line bobs in the water again, and it's like almost like you kind of forgot what to expect. It just and you're like, oh shit! So you grab the line, and then are you gonna bring this one to Orion too?
Is it a good one or is it the same one?
It is not the same one.
Okay,
it look
what?
like?
Wait, yeah. What does it look like?
Has massive teeth.
You're just
It's
the
an
biggest
actual
fucking-
And it's an
Barracuda.
eel.
I'd like to. If I tell you it's nice, what are you gonna do with it? No, I'm not gonna change what I have in mind. I just want to know. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's a way I'd like to.
If it's nice, I obviously need to bring it back down to Orion.
So I'm gonna say, Orion, you are below deck.
I'm fucking annoyed.
You have gotten to the point where you've started kind of drifting off, but you keep
no,
kind
I'm
of.
so sorry.
Orion, I'm gonna say you're not having particularly good dreams when you go to sleep. It's every time you kind of start to drift away, you find yourself at night in the dark somewhere, and just this sensation of being watched and chased and hunted.
Right.
And so this is kind of what?
By what?
That's a great question. It's one of those more just like nameless, faceless dream monster kind of things.
Yeah.
But this is sort of allowing you kind of like, and then popping back awake. And during, I'd say one of the first times you manage to start to drift peacefully to sleep, you hear the, and as Nick comes
I'm
down
so
the stairs,
sorry.
and I'm gonna say you kind of, and you groan and just like roll over, and you see Nick, kind of. I'd say at this point, maybe even a little timidly, holding out a gorgeous little red-skinned fish.
Hey Ryan, is this one a good one?
Go upstairs. Give it to Busto. Or Cal.
But Busto?
Or Wolfie. And leave me alone.
Yeah, but is it a good one?
It's fine.
Okay, but so I actually just wanted to talk to you sort of. Okay, but thanks for telling me it was a fine fish. I've sort of been like doing this all day, and you've never been nice to me about it, so. And no, but anyway, that wasn't what I wanted to say. So like, you know how like when we get into fights, I can like hurt people really good and like do a ton of damage and kill a ton of stuff, and you like pass out. Like, you know how that happens?
Nick and Orion fight.
Yeah.
Let it go one episode.
That's the second time today.
I know. I'm trying to let you get out of this one, buddy.
You better have a fucking point.
Yeah, so my point is that you're like really strong and good at fighting when you don't pass out. And also it really like, I don't know, like it makes me like really sad that like the only way you can hurt people is by hurting yourself. So like if you ever wanted to learn how to fight without hurting yourself, I could teach you.
I'll pass.
Do you want some of this fish? I want to make Cal cook it.
No.
Okay. I will go upstairs and I'll bring it to Cal.
Yeah, Cal. It's almost long enough that you've started to get bored of going by and teasing Nick, and you're kind of just back at the back end of the ship on the tiller, looking out over the sea at these weird little stone spires jutting out of the water. When you hear Nick, sort of much less animatedly walking across the deck to you, and she is carrying a very, very nice fish, actually. It is quite good for eating. It's a bit small. It's a little bit on the small side, but plenty big enough for her, plenty big enough for even a couple of you to have a pretty decent meal.
Is this a good one?
That's definitely much better than what you had before. Is there like a pot or something on this, like a kitchen, like a small area to cook?
There's a bucket.
Do any of you have stuff? I feel like one of you has stuff.
We've
cook
cooked before. I mean,
I
I
have
don't remember who.
alcohol.
like,
Someone had pots
You
and
vodka.
pans and
No,
stuff.
we made that out of something, right?
No, I think you just had pots and pans.
Oh,
Or they were in the
That was-
caravan. They might have
yeah,
been in the
they're-
caravan.
they're
oh,
the carrot.
dang it.
The only thing I know is that we have is a bucket filled with dirt.
We do have a bucket full
Oh my
of
god.
Fucking Pirates of the Caribbean.
dirt. True.
Yeah.
Job dead.
No, you don't really. You guys have been mostly subsisting on rations for a while. You don't really have a proper kitchen set up.
Okay.
And where are we gonna?
Well, Nick, is it still alive?
No. It is drowned by this point.
Did you want to kill it?
Nick. How can we eat this? How are we supposed to cook it? I mean, I guess we can eat it
Do you
raw.
need to cook fish?
No, you don't actually. You can eat it raw.
Yeah.
Here, give me it.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Get it?
spend another 5 minutes actually cutting it into like nice.
Well, would
Fillets.
you know how to eat which part of the fish you eat raw and which part you can't eat raw?
You can eat a fish raw, like flesh.
Depending on the fish, I guess.
It's certain parts of the fish too.
There,
Well, I'm just gonna
all
eat,
fish
like-
have certain parts you can't
Wait,
eat.
yeah. Wait, I'm just gonna eat I'm just gonna chop off a fillet and eat it. I don't care.
Is it good?
For raw fish, it is. Yeah, it's quite good. Salty.
Yeah, try some. Here, you can have the rest of it.
Okay, thank you.
Don't
Sushi was
eat.
invented.
Actually, I'm just gonna cut off certain pieces that I'm gonna give to her, and then I'm gonna throw the rest of
Let's
it.
go, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so my
Ooh,
issue
my-
here is that you didn't really give me anything crunchy.
You don't need anything crunchy. You don't need anything wiggly. You don't need worms. Okay? Can you just eat the fish?
Well, I wanted bones, not worms.
I don't.
I'll eat the fish. And like Orion is like really mad at me.
He's not mad at you. He's just mad at the world.
Yeah,
Just
but I'm
let him be.
being so much nicer to him. Than
Well,
I
you should be like that
and
always. Then.
he's like really mean to me.
You should always be like that. Let's just leave him alone for a bit, okay?
Yeah, but he's so sad and it's really bumming me out.
Yeah. You remember what just happened, right?
Yeah.
Then be understanding. It's okay. We're all in this together. So don't bug him. He won't bug you. Definitely, he'll be down there for all this time. Our main goal right now, the only thing we should focus on, is getting back to Telecheck, and then after that, we're going wherever he needs to go.
Okay.
All right. So no more fishing.
Okay.
It's a waste of time and resources. You're killing things for no reason. Let's.
Can I chime in? Because I would have heard all
Sure.
this.
Oh, yeah.
You always hear.
When
all
I
this.
say let's.
Yeah,
Also interjects with.
Literally the best reaction
that-
Arthur could have had.
We should talk to Orion.
Yeah, well, I tried, but he's like really mean
Well,
right now.
all of us. What are we doing when we get out of Telecheck?
I think we're going to a swamp,
Yeah,
right?
we're going wherever he wants to go.
If I may, I want to after swamp. I know Orion wants swamp bad. But after, I want to help.
Vine. Who gave us the Vine quest?
The Calder Vine. That was Gromit, right?
Yeah, Gromit.
Yeah.
I want
What's his last name? Gromit Fowling.
I agree, but
help
we should do that once we get back to Oakstead. We should go to Oakstead, settle our debt, and then once we're in the clear for now, once we're waiting and we have a little downtime, we can go do that. Sound good?
Okay.
It seems like a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, but I don't want to waste any time. If we didn't realize something and maybe we need to be there quickly, we can't waste any time. It's not like we're buying gas here, guys. I mean,
Well.
it's horses.
Well,
That was out of game. I don't.
well, I say maybe because it is Orion Swamp, we stay at Swamp for 2, 3 days, whatever Orion needs to do. And then we don't go Oakstead. We go Oakstead after we end. Because they don't know when we finish.
I think they might have some idea of when we finish. Things are changing. It seems like that might be pretty obvious.
Now we only need to see if it's for the better.
I highly doubt that, but
Yeah.
No, it's actually like a super clear day and also not raining or night.
There's a
It's
splash on the
fucking
deck.
hot in here today, guys.
Nate's
I'm
freaking
nervous for the fucking this episode.
out. All right. I'm assuming we're just gonna bunk down and wait the next 2 days out. I don't think we have anything to do.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna say yes.
I'm not entering communion with anyone.
Yeah.
I'm just doing my feelers the entire time. Like,
Oh yeah,
like-
no. As you guys have actually noticed this, it's very much. I pointed out last time that it felt very bizarre to be sheltered, almost like an isolation tank. I'm gonna say, at this point, it is such an obvious return of those sort of presences that you can feel that it's without a doubt. Even Wolfie even clearly feels better.
Actually,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take back what I said. About on day 2 of our traveling, I'm going to find a little quiet place, and I am going to enter communion.
All right. All right. Yeah. Let's do that first. Let's say we do that a little bit sooner rather than later.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
No, it's good.
Just because I don't want to. I don't want to interrupt that with something else that's gonna happen right away.
Yep.
But I'd say let's say around evening, right when
Of this night, of the one we were talking
Yeah.
about then? Okay.
right when the sky starts to go orange. You get Busto or Nick or someone to handle the ship. Probably Busto. Or would it be Nick?
There.
Probably not.
Yeah, you get Nick to drive the ship for a bit.
Because I'm still
Um,
praying.
No, you
And
basically
really
just tell her
stupid.
don't run into any rocks and you're good to go. And you go up.
You guys are so mean.
The
I'd
first
say-
Titanic.
Shut up.
I'd say you go up to the port side. Does the sun set in the east or set
It
in
rises
the
in
west?
the east, sets
Sets
in
in
the
the
west.
Rises in
Depends
the
on
east.
the time of year, but okay. Right?
What?
It depends on...
It's always one side or the other.
The
Really?
sun always rises.
I
It-
wanted
it-
to-
I mean, it changes
Bro,
a
Oh my
little
God.
bit, but it
It
doesn't
changes.
switch sides.
It changes.
It doesn't switch sides ever.
Day changes
ever.
length. It does not
Aren't you the
change
hunter here?
position. Yeah.
Yes, and the sun does change.
It's alright, guys. He's
a little
bit
It can
emotional,
go from like
flustered.
almost completely north to almost completely south. I swear
I
to
have
Christ.
no idea.
We'll figure it out.
Trust me.
We'll do some research after streaming, promise.
We're not going
No,
to.
we're
not.
Um, I'd say
we don't care enough.
you sit
I
on
care.
the s-
Me and Nate do.
you sit on the starboard side of the ship, so facing east out into the ocean, and you sort of go into a. God, is there a better word for it than crisscross applesauce?
No.
A crossed leg sort of
Yeah.
position,
Just say
and
criss-
Oh, is it a
Crisscross
cross
applesauce.
Chris applesauce?
it's not better.
Cross
It's much
Chris.
worse.
It's a lot
Apple.
worse. No.
Cross Chris sauce apple, baby.
No.
You're a
no.
moron.
You,
Let's
you
stop
need to
now.
stop. Okay.
Stop. You're playing Buster. in
Happy
real life.
birthday, but we're over it.
Happy birthday, but shut up.
We're done.
So yeah, no, you sit at the edge of the ship, and I'm gonna say you close your eyes and just sort of focus on this, this sort of just projection of water kind of hitting your cheeks, and suddenly you can't feel it anymore. Instead, you feel a sort of dull heat, and when you open your eyes, you are in your communion, sitting actually more towards the center of the dais. I'd say actually no. Let's say you're right in the center. You're sort of in the middle of the shattered remains of that giant mirror, and you can see that you're not alone in here. There is a woman, sort of in a. She's lying down on one of the outer edges of the dais. So well, not quite lying down. She's just sort of sitting with her legs off, looking out into the void, but she's sort of sitting in a way. She's got an arm wrapped around her side, pressing against like the area right above her hip, and she's sort of leaning down on the other elbow. She does not turn to face you when you arrive.
I just wanted to say thank you.
You can sort of see her sigh, and then she kind of painfully rises to her feet and turns to face you, and you see that same beautiful, beautiful woman, as we have determined before. She's
30
wearing
out
that
of 30.
that same sort of orange and white robe, and she has she looks like a high or half elf maybe. She's imposing too. I think we said she was like 12 feet tall or something. But she turns around to face you, and you can almost just feel how much less like virulent the atmosphere is. She just seems kind of tired. And she turns around, still clutching her side now, and you can actually see that there is this golden blood just kind of coming out from between her fingers and running down one of her legs a little bit. And she kind of looks at you and just walks over and goes, and just sort of walks over to you. She doesn't seem to be able to muster any anger to yell at you.
That's a big problem.
And she sort of looks down at you and says, it's all right, Cal. I'm glad you made that out of there alive.
Yeah, me too. What's wrong with you?
She sort of turns and you do feel a bit of that heat, almost like the void kind of pushing out on you as she turns and just like, it's a very weird motion. She turns and kind of like hunches and then just kicks a chunk of the glass still stuck in the ground, and you see it just goes flying off the edge. And when she turns back around to face you, you can see her eyes are just ablaze again, and she just goes, "You just had to be fucking him." I'm sorry, Cal. I should have known better about Forge. I should have warned you. But it just had to be fucking him. It's always so many things around him. And she takes a hand away, and you can see it's not really a particularly, it looks like she had a pretty bad injury, but it's already starting to, like, it seems like it has closed a bit in the last couple of days, but it leaves just this residue on her hand, and she just looks at you and just says, just had to be fucking him. You made it out all right, didn't you?
You can say that. Physically, yeah, sure. It's he did that to you with what he did. He hurt you.
She sort of walks. She's you can sort of like sense her getting more and more riled up, and she's sort of now pacing just in a circle around you, and she says, "No, not exactly." She clenches a fist shut, and you can see that that golden liquid just start to bubble and steam off of her closed fist, and she says, "Actually," she points at you, she says, "I suppose if we're speaking technically, you did this. And she says, I know it's not my way to forgive, but in this one, I blame Feldus far more than you." And she says, "He was a dignitary, like you, dignitary of my name, and he died. He died in such a way that I never got a chance to quite let go." She says, and she actually, I'm gonna say she approaches you enough that she kind of crouches down and like puts her hands kind of near you and almost like searching, very much penetrating your gaze, and she says, "When a mortal enters patronage, their fate is tied to ours, yes, but so is ours to theirs. It creates something a bit more. You could say it makes us a little bit less than immortal, where you're made a bit more than mortal. But with his passing at such a violent end, it just doesn't let me go quite as easy. A bit of discomfort, if you will." And she kind of waves her hand, but you can see that the golden liquid has pretty much been burned away off of her arm. But she seems to have calmed down a little bit again.
If you blame me for killing him, why did you give me that power with the trident?
She says, "I don't think you were wrong." And she sort of is starting to back up, and you can see that like helix of four wings starting to sort of shimmer behind her as she approaches the edge. And she says, "He betrayed you. He betrayed me. He betrayed all of us." And she sort of steps backward off of the dais and expands back up into that flaming silhouette again, and continues to speak to you, and she says, "Without a doubt, he deserved to die."
Yeah. Guess you could say that, yeah. Can I just beam out of it. Just go back to the boat.
Sure. I'm gonna say you say that and you kind of close your eyes and look down again, and I'll say you kind of lean back and you put your hands down to touch the dais, but you feel the wooden bow of the ship, and when your eyes open again, you can see the sun has dipped below the horizon, and the sky has begun to darken. So. Night falls, and the ocean glows with a brilliant mirror finish in the moonlight. The air feels colder than it has been, plunging the parts of your group still awake into a form of listless melancholy.
Who is staying up?
Yeah, that's a good point. Who is still awake?
I'll stay up first. I'll take first watch.
Okay.
Orion still below deck?
Everybody else answer first.
Do you want me to make a survival check or anything?
Let's see who's up first.
You two answer first.
Me, I might take like a nap. I might go to sleep, but I'll sleep near Cal. I won't go downstairs.
Okay.
I'll stay up.
I'm down below.
Okay.
So me and Busto are up right now?
Perception check.
Yeah, go ahead.
Survival.
You survival, you perception.
I'm not saying I'm asleep.
What'd you roll?
8.
8. Alright. So, you're not making very good progress. You're having a bit of trouble weaving through these stones.
Is the
which
wind
meant...
here?
What? Yeah, the wind is still at your back. You just have kind of had to slow down so that you don't crash into anything. And I'll say, actually, it's because of the fact that you were going at a more leisurely pace that, Busto, it's pretty easy to spot, a few hours later, a point of light off to your left, right now.
Do you want to
I'd
know
say.
what my what my actual roll was?
What was it, a 1?
No.
It's probably like a 50.
No, it's 23.
23. Yeah, no, so
Almost
I mean,
halfway.
I assumed you'd see it.
Fair enough.
I'm
see
gonna say,
everything, Trevor.
yeah, no, it's that same glowing light you saw on the way here. It looks almost like a reflection of the moonlight on the water, topping a much larger stone spire than the rest that appears to jut out of the depths a mile or so to the east, off the starboard side of your ship.
Ooh.
Do I notice if there's any detail on this thing?
It's about a mile off, so
Oh, it's
probably
about a mile
not.
off. Fuck. Yeah. Okay, didn't hear that little detail.
Kyle,
Yeah, Busto?
do you want to?
Check that out? Yeah, sure.
It's kind of like fiddling with my crushed map. It is not that map. It's this map, and I knew that.
He meant to grab that first.
I think it's I don't know what that says.
Let me see it, Busto.
I was about to
Oh
say, do
my
you know how to
God.
read maps? Last time it was upside down. Do you know
That's
how
a
to
joke.
read maps? You just turned it upside down.
He gave it to me upside down.
It's not the lighthouse. The lighthouse is about 40 miles to the east.
40 miles.
So we
Oh.
can't see it.
It's not the
it's
lighthouse.
Oh, so it's
This
not.
also very much does not look like a lighthouse.
Oh,
So
I
it's just a big stone
Orb.
spire
Yeah.
With the light on
with
top.
light on top.
we have to
So
check
it's the
that
same
out.
thing. Yeah, we're checking.
Same
that
thing
out.
you saw.
I'm gonna. Busto, okay, now listen to me very careful. What I want you to do, see that right rope over there on the, I'm not gonna say starboard port, on the right side, over here on this side of the boat. I want you to take that rope and pull it towards us so that the sails point in that direction so we can get speed over there. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
I'm implementing my own intelligence system now, Trevor. If I roll above a 10, I get it. If I roll below a 10, I do not get
What's your
it.
modifier on intelligence?
-2.
Are you familiar with boats?
A little bit.
He's on one.
Explained it.
I-
I
a little
I'm
bit.
gonna
explained
say
it,
for
man.
things
I rolled a 14 total.
14 total.
Yeah.
That's not even
With your
bad.
It wouldn't be affected much. I was gonna say for things you are probably not familiar with, I want to add a couple more negatives to that.
Okay,
Um,
that's fair.
While things you might be a little bit more familiar, maybe we can add a plus or so. Yeah. No, Busto seems a bit slow to action, and he kind of keeps glancing back over at you to make sure he's doing it right. But after a few minutes, he manages to pull the sail around, and you begin to make a hard turn. Well, I guess the sail is just gonna move you.
The sail's
once you
gonna
turn.
move, and then I'm gonna turn at the same time, so we can try to get the wind in our sail as much as possible.
So you kind of, and there's this sort of moment of drifting, and then you again, and you start sliding over the water towards this point of light.
Okay.
I don't know. It doesn't take. You're moving. Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea.
Oh yeah.
You're
That's true.
moving fairly fast. So
Once we
it's-
pick up a bunch of speed, I'm going to hop off and pull up the sails to make us slow down as
All right.
much as possible.
Yeah.
I'm trying
So-
to be El Quiet.
Yeah. Cal,
Wait.
I think this would be a stealth check if you like.
Can I assist?
Hey,
Yeah. Go ahead and have Busto.
how long before I
Advantage
take a
or
level
just-
of exhaustion?
Advantage or
How long before I take a
What is
level
your
of exhaustion?
what is your
if I
dex?
can't get to sleep?
my
You
dex
can't get to
plus
sleep?
0.
Yeah, if I'm still
So
getting
what's-
dreams, I would
I'm
assume I
making a roll
can't
though, 'cause
sleep.
I'm-
If you're not doing much, a
Well, I
one.
have like a +5.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
but
I'm
that
resting.
doesn't mean anything.
but I'm
Arthur, 'cause
not sleeping.
piloting
Yeah,
the
you're
boat, so-
probably gonna be all right.
But he said he told me to roll,
do you want me to roll with advantage?
or either of us to roll.
Both of us to roll.
Just have both of you roll. That's fine.
14.
Nice roll.
16.
I think I have a plus on
16.
stealth actually.
Yeah, I mean either of those are sufficient.
No, I don't.
Your boat is now sort of, and again, it's a very, even though you've had to repair it, it's still a fairly well-made boat, and it very much slides through the water. But I'd say as little as 20 or 30 minutes later, you get within a much closer distance, and you can see it's this huge, almost like a chimney shape. It's sort of this big stone pillar that's almost like winding out of the water and ending in this just point that appears to be just glowing in the moonlight. Brilliant, almost like a second
Does it look
moon.
2D?
No, it just sort of, it's just sort of, it looks very much just like a glowing structure at the top. And you can see there isn't any particularly like, it's not man-made, it's just a spire, but there is a rope that appears to have been attached to the top, which is hanging down about 10 or so feet above the water.
I'm gonna drop the anchor right next to it. Busto. Hold on a second.
Check it later. Check it later. Check
Oh.
it later.
Busto, do you mind looking after Nick while I climb up the rope? Make sure I don't die or anything.
Do you want me to
I
carry you?
should climb,
You should climb.
and then I'm gonna turn into a spider.
That's true. Well, fucking explain that.
Cause that's the
Busto.
thing. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna run at it and like while running into it.
It looks
while
so
shape.
weird.
Okay. Yeah. No, but Busto just gets a running start and leaps from the ship and then just into a spider and hits the side of the spire before moving upward and out of sight. And Busto, I'd say, yeah. I mean, there's no problem. Cal, you can barely see, but I'd say no. You probably can't see him as a spider in the dark. But Busto, after a couple minutes, you reach the top. It's pretty high. It's a good 100 feet or so up, and you crawl over this sort of rim into. It looks like the spire goes up, and then it dips down very slightly at the top, forming almost like a little crater shape. And inside of it, it appears to be where the rope is attached to a couple of man-made structures. The most obvious of which we will address first, which is this huge, it looks like it might be a glass sphere on a big, like, almost like, you know what a globe looks like? That kind of metal frame, holding up this huge glass sphere, which seems to just be collecting the moonlight and then beaming it out in all directions.
Awesome.
And below this, you can see, it looks like astronomy equipment. There's a telescope pointing up in one direction, and then on this little table there appear to be a couple different star charts with things mapped out or drawn on. But it all looks like it has been left here for quite a while.
I'm gonna yell up to Busto. Hey, check if it's magical at all. I know you can do that thing.
I can't.
You can't do that?
Not wild
You
shape.
didn't prepare it? Oh.
It's for bold magic. It's race magic actually, so I can.
You told me about
Yeah.
it's your character sheet.
Yeah, as far as I know, I can because it's race magic.
It's a good point.
So I'm gonna cast detect magic.
Okay. I mean The sphere appears to be magical, but it's more like it's an artifact of some sort. Nothing here appears to be actively magical. It's all just sort of ambient or old magic. But if you're wondering what school, I'd say there's a bit of divination around is probably the most prevalent, and that's about it.
Is the space too big for me to really turn back into Busto?
Oh no, you could turn back into Busto. It's a good 10 or so feet.
Okay.
Oh Jesus, there is something I am forgetting to mention.
Oh no.
In the corner of the room, away from the telescopes and table, there appears to be a small wooden trapdoor. There's also like it seems to be fairly well furnished. There's like a carpet in the middle and that kind of thing.
Detect magic does work on mimics.
It does.
I don't see any.
There's no mimics.
That means there's mimics. I feel like Trevor's just writing down the stats for a mimic real quick. Just 1 second.
The entire tower is a kraken's tentacle.
Busto dies.
I'm just gonna, turning out of a spider, call out, quietly by the way. Climb up and anchor. You and I will go down.
Before I'm gonna reply. Yeah, sure. Give me a second. I'm gonna go down to Orion real quick.
I don't know if I'd be awake or not.
You wouldn't?
I
Are you
don't know.
sleeping? Trevor.
Is he asleep?
Is he asleep?
Depends on how dreams are going, man.
You get a couple hours at a time, maybe. Like maybe an hour, hour and a half, that kind of thing.
So I'm pretty tired.
He's pretty tired.
Okay. I'm gonna walk down, see that he's asleep, and decide not to, and walk back up to the deck and start climbing.
All right. Yeah, no, I'd say you reach the top and you see this same scene. It looks like someone's workshop, but like to your eye, it appears to have been left here for quite. There appears to be a magic that has kept it protected from the rain and that sort of thing, but it doesn't look like anyone's been here in quite a while.
Okay.
Can I also, may I cast Beast Bond on Wolfie?
What does that do again?
A telepathic link with one beast you touch that is friendly to you or charmed by you.
Yeah, no, you can go ahead.
All right. It's just 10 minutes, and I can tell it to do things like bark.
Fuck yeah.
In case we get fucked.
True. Good
Like
thought.
Q8000. I'm sorry.
8,000?
And then
18.
then we're gonna hop down.
At Q18.
Yeah.
Facts.
Let's go.
All right. You're going down the trapdoor?
Yep.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yes.
It's never a good question.
Cal,
Yeah, Busto.
take papers.
Papers. What are you trying to say?
The papers, and I'm just gonna point to like all of the star charts and stuff.
Oh. Take them. I have a pretty photographic memory. I'll just look at them. I'll copy them down on my notebook. As much as I possibly can.
Cal, are you an astronomer? Do you have any...
No,
Knowledge
but I'm
and astronomy?
very smart, so I
Yeah.
can copy it down like.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
I would.
I'm just curious if it's particularly relevant to you.
Oh, no.
For me, it would be.
Yeah, but you don't understand charts. You just know a picture of a star.
Oh, all right. Busto, if you'd like to roll an investigation check, that's fine.
Sure.
He might be able to figure out a constellation.
15 total.
Orion's built. Oh.
That's a decent
Alright.
roll, considering Orion.
Yeah, no, Busto.
One right now.
I'm gonna say it's for one thing, it's not written in a language you're particularly familiar with, but you can gather from the various charts and notes written. It looks like it was someone tracking the moon, and observing things on the moon for some reason. It doesn't look. There's nothing on there that is like I have found the secret of space travel. It just looks like it was someone charting the path of a celestial body.
Okay. And how big is the orb, by the way?
It's a good like 12 by. It's larger than the space you're in below it.
Okay.
It's big.
So it's not small enough for me to pick up and take.
No.
No. You gotta get magical swag, boys. Any means possible.
You and your magical swag.
All right. So you guys.
I would like to open the door and cast Find Traps.
Okay. Do you have to roll anything? Anything? Blah blah blah. Or is
No,
it-
it just tells me the sense of anything
Okay.
for 120 feet.
So you creak open this little wooden trapdoor. It appears to have kind of weathered with age, and it opens fairly slowly. But you peek down what looks like a sort of almost naturally carved stone staircase into this chimney-esque spire, and you detect all 0 of the traps.
Except for the trap door. Which you just
Wow.
opened.
Okay, bad, but that was good.
Okay.
They're in the trees, man. They're in the walls. okay, I'm gonna chill now. It's
Now you got me all
Is there
paranoid.
anything down there, Busto? Can you see anything?
Oh.
Alright, well, I'll go down first if you want.
Okay.
No, actually,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to roll stealth and go down.
Well, yeah, me too.
Okay.
18.
Do you have disadvantage, Cal?
6, no.
Okay, I know that's a fighter trait sometimes, but what'd you get?
6.
I heard 16, and then I went, wait, hold up. Yeah, no. So I'd say you guys start to creep down the stairs, and as you descend down the stone chimney, the stairs in front of you become gradually more illuminated. This soft white light, again almost reminiscent of moonlight, but much more subdued this time, emanating from somewhere down below. And actually, you can almost tell when you've passed under the water, the air seeming to take on a heavier quality as you descend. But after a few minutes of walking, you two emerge into a large undersea cavern. These sloped walls curving downward and outward into a much larger chamber housing a little lagoon. This just sort of little area where the ocean water has seeped in and filled just the bottom of this chamber. And upon entering, you can see the source of the light is a massive speckled toad. Its back covered with huge glowing mushroom caps. It appears to be sleeping though, half submerged in the water, the light's magnitude fluctuating with its heavy snoring. What do you do?
Is there anything man-made in the room besides the toad?
Yeah, so
Assuming
here,
the toad is man-made.
let's talk a little bit about the room.
Before, I'm just going to,
Everyone just like
I'm gonna touch myself.
conjure animals. Hey, stop! Let's go.
I'm gonna touch myself, and
Yep.
give myself Cat's Grace, using enhanceability, so I get advantage on dexterity checks.
That's a good thought.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna give him guidance.
All right.
I cast guidance on you.
Thank you. What does that do?
D4 to any roll.
Okay. I'm going to sneak around to the other side of this thing from Busto, so we're on opposite sides, and put my trident down and walk back over to Busto.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
So I roll
what
stealth?
We
is
gotta talk about the fact that this fucking pull the trident to you. It's not a fucking weapon.
It is.
I was giving you a cool thing to do. I didn't.
Do you see what Thor does? He goes and hits all the people. I'm not saying I can aim it, but if I'm on the other side of
If
this
you're
guy,
gonna use it as a weapon, we have to make mechanics for it. All right.
You get one
we
last
gotta do that
time.
after this stream. Okay.
You get
I
one
can't just
more.
keep letting you get a fucking another whole attack every turn.
Keep doing this.
well, it counts as half my movement.
Yeah, not an attack.
I'm gonna say it needs to be a lot more
Wow.
valuable than half your friggin'
Can I
Okay.
throw my axe and have it count as half my movement, please?
Okay, we'll say if it hits something, then it's an action.
We'll talk about it after this stream.
Sounds fantastic.
Okay. But we
I'm
were talking
gonna
a bit
break.
about the room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, room.
So, standing in this room creates a sensation of weightlessness, and as you sort of idle and walk around, you begin to notice that when the toad's light dims, a multitude of smaller lights glow on the walls of the chamber. These little, perhaps mushrooms, perhaps just little points of bioluminescent fungi, that sort of thing. But the effect of which is it creates the illusion of the night sky, looking for all the world like captured stars.
Oh my
And then at the center of this is the massive moon toad, half submerged in this little lake, which appears to be also. You were asking if there's anything man-made, Busto. It appears to be slightly filled with silver coins.
All right.
The toad doesn't appear to react at all to you walking away. It is deep asleep.
All right. Would I know anything about moon toads specifically?
I don't know. Have you? Is this something Buster's familiar with?
Most likely.
Probably. Yeah, go ahead and roll insight. Insight.
All right. Advantage or? Because I would have known about it, or
What?
advantage because I would know about it, or
Actually, I'm not gonna go back to Busto. I'm just gonna stay on the other side of the toad.
Okay. Yeah,
With his hand like this.
yeah, sure.
All right.
Actually, just add 2. Just,
Oh.
sorry.
Okay, that's fine then.
Do you want me to make a stealth check?
I'll take the lower of the two.
Nice.
Add a 2.
Oh yeah.
17 plus
22 total.
22 total.
It's not bad.
18 on stealth.
So, moon toads, the general sort of, the gist, is that they're these huge saltwater amphibious toads. They have very little magic besides this sort of attraction towards bioluminescent fungi, which seems to exist in parallel with them. There's a lot of little legends around them. Some people claim that the reason they're sleeping so long is that they were placed here in order to wake up when the time was right. But the leading theory is that they're just really long-lived, really inactive toads.
All right.
They, from your experience, they are, unless particularly provoked, quite docile.
I love
But people do
so
come.
much.
The reason for the coins is people consider them a sort of good luck, and that belief that they are going to wake up one day to accomplish a particular task. They throw in the coins for the toad's use when the time comes.
Oh, that's so cool.
All right.
It's almost like a living wishing well kind of thing.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I would like to try to pick some bioluminescent fungi.
On the
Sure.
walls?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. Approaching the walls, you can see that the points of light appear to be just tiny versions of those same massive mushrooms on the back of the toad. But yeah, you can pull them off pretty easily.
Oh.
They seem to lose a lot of their bioluminescence once removed from the wall, though.
Yeah. I'll just take 3.
Okay. So Cal, you sort of stand in the room next to this moon toad as Busto plucks stars from the sky.
Do I see anything else?
In the room?
Yeah.
What are you looking for? You seem
Other
to be-
entrances, certain, like, bookshelves,
Oh.
anything?
Bones.
Bones?
There are no bones. You could, in terms of other exits, you could
Yeah.
probably leave back out the lagoon. There's probably a hole that's letting in the seawater somewhere. Anyway.
Yeah. I don't think we should really disturb this thing. I'm gonna walk back
Hasn't
over to
done anything
Busto.
yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk back over to Busto. Busto, I think we should get out of here. Don't not disturb this thing at all. Just sitting in peace. I think we have the full story already.
There's something about this toad.
It's got mushrooms on it. Yeah, you can see that. I don't. What do you think is with this toad?
Can I
So
go over
slowly licks the toad.
and like as softly as possible touch it? All right.
Yeah.
Does your
Are you
reflect
just like placing a hand on like its face,
Uh,
forehead,
yeah.
back?
Back.
Yeah. You feel this. It's sort of bizarre. Toad skin at a small scale has a pretty distinct feel, but this is very smooth, almost more like a seal at such a large scale. But you place a hand on its side and you feel it like shiver slightly, but it doesn't seem to react to your touch otherwise.
All right.
I'd say maybe the mushrooms closest to your hand on its back glow a little bit more brightly, but nothing else.
Can I roll a medicine check to see what the mushrooms would do if you were to eat them?
Yeah.
Buster discovers drugs.
I don't know how much you know about them, but yeah, sure.
He's basically a
just
child,
medicine,
so
or not in that 20.
19 though.
19?
Plus 8, so 27. 27.
Well, it
It's
probably,
medicine, bro. It's one thing I'm good at.
at the very least, it wouldn't kill you. It probably wouldn't do anything that would be of horrible value. It's definitely, it's sort of, it's pumped full of a level of like chemicals to cause it to glow that would definitely mess with you a bit. The best you could guess is it might like relax you. You might hallucinate a bit. They're like, I mean, it's
You've given me drugs.
it's
I just told
basically
you,
gonna. It
Busto
might.
discovers
I'd
drugs.
imagine if there are drugs,
This is
glowing
it.
mushrooms fits kind of the bill.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have no idea what the effect would be.
And
but
they're glowing before you take them. Like, shit.
You do know this place is called Dreamstrider Bay.
Oh shit. Buster. Let's get out of here.
Busto, no, don't do it.
Buster just wants to pick 2 more and he'll go.
Off
From
its
his back?
No.
Uh-huh.
That would be bad.
No, not his back.
It's like attached to his skin. You just rip it off. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. That's about it for me.
All right.
least
Yeah.
Busto's not
So
a
Busto
toad
grabs a
licker.
couple more
we're gonna sneak back up.
mushrooms off the walls, and you guys head back out, and down the rope to the ship.
Yep.
Where you guys set off for another few nights.
I have one question.
Yes.
Did the bag of teeth do anything?
You have not. Have you used it yet?
No.
Have you done anything with it?
No.
Then no, it has
I
done
was just
nothing.
wondering if next to it.
Hasn't reacted to anything. Hasn't done anything. It's a bag of teeth. It has done all of the cool things that a bag of teeth does.
Sit around.
Alright.
Be a
It's
bag of
gross.
teeth.
It's crunchy. It's weird.
And it's been no
No.
use to any of us.
Yeah,
Yet.
that's true. If I gave you, what is valuable? If I gave you a bunch of little cubes of plutonium, I feel like they're not going to be particularly useful if you don't do anything. with them.
Precisely.
Okay.
That is my-
I think you could use that with anything.
Yeah.
Really.
That is my analogy for the night.
That's all we get all night.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be quiet forever now. But Nate, it seemed like you wanted to say something
When we got there.
when you got to telecheck.
Telecheck, yeah.
Well, we're not gonna jump there just yet.
I think I'm good then.
All right. I'm gonna say, you guys have another. It's a while. You're at sea for a while, but about what?
Long rests for.
Oh yeah, everybody can take a long rest.
I don't need to.
Yeah.
I haven't done shit.
I'm gonna say it's about a night, a full day. So it is the next night, after you guys had your little stop. I'd say probably Nick and Orion didn't even notice, but
Did they switch out during the night? Or did me and Busto stay up all night?
I don't know. Did someone else go during the day?
I don't.
I would.
No,
I would be.
I
Sleeping
don't think
during the
I-
I'd be sleeping too. I'd
Yeah,
like
I'll
Nick
steer
up.
it, sure.
I don't think I'm in a state to get up.
Yeah. So Nick is piloting right now, and everyone else is asleep.
Yeah.
Trying.
Yeah.
At least until nightfall, and then
Yeah.
I would get back up.
So I'm gonna say the three of you. I'm gonna say actually it is like lightly drizzling. So the three of you plus Wolfie are all below deck on those little wooden benches. Busto might have to be sleeping on the floor with Wolfie.
Druid craft a hammock.
That's fair. That's pretty cool, actually.
Been down there the whole time
Yeah.
on some fucking
He just
wooden
made a
bench.
hammock.
And he's like, "Oh, hammock for me."
Oh my god.
What a bitch!
Would you like
I've
a-
been struggling to sleep.
Would you like a
And
hammock?
you've been holding out on me for so long.
Would you like a hammock?
No, not from you. Not anymore, asshole.
Orion,
Oh.
you managed to fall asleep. And actually, when you finally managed to get to sleep, you slept probably for about 9 hours. But in the middle of this, you slept basically through the day,
Yeah.
I'll say. But in the middle of the night, you have a dream. In your dream, it's still at night, but almost more disturbingly, there is no presence following you. Instead, you just see a face. Her face. After all these years. And as you're sort of running towards her to, I don't know, whatever, a hand snaps out of the darkness and grabs around her face. These 5, maybe 6 jagged, black, wispy fingers that dig into the sides of her cheeks and just pull her backwards into the shadows where she vanishes. And back in the ship, you snap awake. And actually, I'd say it probably wakes up Busto and Cal because Orion, like, jumps up and just slams a hand into the wall. And you can see he just looks panicked. And without a word, he runs out onto the deck of the ship, away from the gully that he's spent the last couple of days. And Nick, you see this now. You hear kind of a gasping, and Orion runs out across the deck to the edge of the ship where he leans over and just vomits.
That's
into the
exactly
ocean.
what I was gonna say. I did too.
And then a few seconds later, after he has finished heaving, you see him kind of just drop to his side on the ship and just like, sort of just heavy breathing, looking out over the water.
I'm gonna make sure the tailor's all set, and then I'm gonna run over to him. Dude, are you okay?
Yeah. Who's piloting the ship?
Yeah, me. It's fine. You don't have to hold it all the time.
I'm sorry, the way she said that was like, I haven't held it the entire fucking
I
trip,
just was-
and we're just going somewhere completely random
It's
now.
fine.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm fine. Just go back to manning the ship, please.
Do you like hate me now?
No.
Why are you being mean to me? We're literally all trying to help you.
I'm just sea sickness. I'm sorry. Once we
want-
get back on land, I'll be fine.
I have like really strong alcohol. Sometimes that helps. Do you want that?
You and me both, Nick.
No, seriously though, do you want some?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it?
It's that boar juice that I still have left over from the tavern way back in that place that
How much do you
we
have?
were at. Like half a bottle.
I'm gonna take out my almost full bottle and just clink it.
Oh my gosh!
I'm gonna-
Cheers!
Sip that a little bit.
Yeah, it does cut the edge off. There's no denying that.
I want to have at least like 3/4 left.
Yeah.
So just like
No, but you
quarter
feel
of
this
it.
just warmth running through you, and things start to seem a little less terrible. But also this like rocking of the boat is getting far more violent from your perspective.
How far away are we from telecheck?
I don't know, I'm just steering the boat.
That's not reassuring.
How far are we? Like a couple days?
About a day,
Okay, yeah,
maybe a
we're
little bit
like
less.
about a day, maybe a little less.
That's always funny. I don't know why it's funny every single time.
We can row too, right?
I don't know. I think this is a sailboat.
Can we row too? Are there paddles?
You had big paddles and a lot of gumption.
Are there paddles?
No.
It's
Do
a
you bring
sailboat, man.
paddles? It's a sailboat.
No, I thought it could be a sail and rowboat. I wasn't sure.
Some of his boats are. This one's just
How
like
big
a,
is this? Like 40 foot, you'd say?
It's
not huge.
Yeah.
It's like
It's a yacht.
it's a small sailboat.
Yeah.
But it's big enough to have a deck, like a pirate ship deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a one-master though.
Yeah. Okay.
It kind of looks like I think I described it as kind
It's a
of
sloop.
It's a weird kind of oversized canoe shape,
Oh yeah.
but just with a deck
You
over
think
the top.
Busto can make paddles?
I bet he totally could, but that's a ton of hard work. Like to
he's
actually
rested,
row
right?
though.
I'm down.
Would you call me?
Yeah.
Do it.
There's no fucking way that's gonna work.
Hey, Busto,
What?
can you come here?
Okay.
Still kind of sick.
And yeah, coming up, I'm gonna try to roll medicine to like see what's wrong with him. 23. 18 plus 5. 15 plus 5. 8.
Best you can guess.
I threw up.
Yeah. No, he's not like physically sick. It looks like he is somewhere in the midst of a panic attack of some sort.
Okay.
Just like a physiologic, like it is very much
Mental.
like him freaking out.
Can you make 4 paddles?
And I mean, I do want to mention that it's also very clear he is not as composed as he is trying to make himself appear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In real life, I'm shaking right now.
Yeah.
I'm hot, but so I don't want to put this back on. But I'm shaking.
I don't think that will help.
Wouldn't hurt.
It will take me a very long time to make. I cast Gust of Wind. Right into the
Oh,
sand.
nice.
That only is for a minute, right?
Hey Ryan, I should probably go steer, but you can come and sit up there if you want to keep talking.
I may.
Okay.
I'm still gonna try to convince you to make paddles. Can you just make 2?
Ooh. Nope.
That wasn't a bad roll.
Maybe.
All
I
his
made the
fucking
intelligence check.
rolls. It was over 10.
Okay. And I'm gonna kind of like sit up at the top, like at the front of the ship, like I normally do, and start trying to like craft a tree branch and do a small paddle.
Well, most of the issue is making a paddle long enough. You could make a paddle. It would take an hour
Our boat's
or
like
two.
10 feet wide though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
very wide, and it's a
way
good
more
like
than-
6 or 7 feet down to the water.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Unless you have 2 people paddling.
That's a good point.
That's what I've been
I
thinking
was
this whole
not
time.
thinking that.
Well, more of the problem comes from it being a bit high than it being
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's what
that
I'm
was the
saying.
only
wide.
issue that I
There-
was
like,
thinking.
there's a reason when you had those sort of sailing ships, it was either very low to the water or they
Well,
had people down.
I have a
below
solution for
paddling.
that too.
Yeah.
We have rope. Just tie somebody to the side of the boat.
What?
People used to sail like that. I swear to God.
Tied to the side of the boat.
Yes.
You're fucking lying. No, we don't need to do this on stream.
No.
I swear to
I'll
fucking
join the
Christ,
break.
they
We'll
still
figure
do
it
it
out.
like
We'll
During
that.
the break. During the break.
I don't know what you call it, so I
According
wouldn't even know what to look up.
government.
Um,
I'm gonna fucking. I'm gonna shoot you.
during this time, like as this is kind of happening, I'm gonna try to keep casting Gust of Wind just to maybe
I mean, is it spell slot?
3rd level,
You're not gonna
How
get
many
many.
spell slots do you have?
3.
Damn.
So how does that speed us up?
So you can get 3 minutes of boosted wind.
So yeah, and I'm
Would-
gonna.
well,
That-
actually,
that
would-
would
would
speed us
that-
up though.
Yeah, would it do quite a bit?
It would do a good amount. I mean, 3 minutes of strong wind carries you pretty damn far.
Yeah.
alright.
Maybe like an hour.
If you spread it out too, you could probably allow yourself to speed up and then wane off the speed and then speed
Coast,
up again.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
what I was thinking.
that's
So,
what
yeah.
I was doing like during I'm making the paddling.
I'll go back and steer again.
Okay.
I am. You'd say we'd had enough time to have a long rest, me and Busto.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna come back up on the deck.
Yeah, you see Orion, I guess, still at the side of the boat, kind of just lying on the deck.
Ready to
basically.
throw up again.
Yeah. Nick in back steering and Busto at the front. Are you still making the paddles or are you just gust of winding?
I'm doing both, and
Yeah.
if I can, I would like to try to talk to.
Yeah, and then Busto with these paddles and just occasionally and then your boat kind of out into the ocean more.
I'm gonna go and sit next to Orion.
Everybody wants to talk to me, but they're still making fun of me. That table, at least, you're good.
Thank you.
You know, Nick just wants to be your friend, right? Just
I know.
okay. Well, I just want to make sure you know that.
I do.
Good. I don't want her to feel bad, or you to feel bad for that matter. But
I know.
okay, are you feeling a little bit sick?
A tad.
What's wrong, Chief?
Seasick.
Is he sick?
Not physically. What did you roll?
I
didn't-
rolled
I
a
should-
natural
fucking-
15.
No, I rolled a 19.
Oh.
Not physically.
Okay, well, if you need to talk to anyone, I feel like I might be the best therapist here, to be honest. So. No.
What is he doing?
Put your fucking hand down.
That's not good therapy. That's just.
You're so mean to him
I have
on his birthday.
I think that's kind of the tradition.
Yeah.
Facts, honestly.
I have options.
Okay,
But-
I'm just giving you another one. Alright. I'm gonna stand up and pat him on the head and walk away.
Oh, he's gonna hate that.
Right on my head.
Yeah.
Told you I was seasick.
By the way, Orion. God, this is not the best time to ask this question. Did you get your witch hat back?
Oh.
From Graham?
Did it
No, it's disintegrated.
disintegrate
It
with
doesn't
him?
disintegrate with the body.
If
Oh,
All
His,
of his stuff?
his equipment would be there. Like it's just like.
Oh,
merchant
then
shit.
I'm gonna say that I left the shield and the dagger on his grave.
Okay.
if it was there, not disintegrated, I think I would have taken it.
Not my dagger. The dagger
Not-
we made for him.
Wearing it,
Okay. I'm just curious.
I have it.
I just forgot to ask.
I feel like that.
Below
Honestly,
deck.
I feel like that magic witch hat is going to save us.
It's
somehow.
not magic. It's just a witch hat.
just
No,
a
it's
hat,
going
yeah.
to turn to magic.
You say
For the power
abracadabra.
of love
and
and
you just-
I
the
mean,
power
you
of
can
love
get
and
it
spirit.
enchanted, probably, but
I just wanted.
expensive.
I just wanted to say.
Guys, we need to make the team fund.
All
Just-
into enchanting
all,
this witch
all
hat.
into enchanting this one.
Yeah,
witch
yeah.
hat.
No, because then Orion would have it.
Wow. Fucking.
This table over here is having a lot of negativity tonight.
Okay, are you serious? We're
I've
being
been
so nice
so friendly.
We need to make-
all
we're just making one-
night.
No, not their characters. Them.
No, dude,
I've been
I-
very negative
I feel
tonight.
so
I was
bad
not
for
mean.
you.
I made one
Guys,
Callan
guys,
Orion
this-
fight joke.
I've almost cried.
Like, not even
This
just to
episode.
me. They're also making fun of the birthday boy.
I
Like,
would never.
What the fuck?
That's just me.
You're
sorry.
making fun
It's
of
mostly the one in
birthday
stripes.
boy.
That's the main one. Well, you know, you. It's him. It's him.
Okay, what's happening?
what's happening is we're going on break for 10 minutes.
It's because he
that
has
was
to
a-
pee.
That was the
'Cause I have to-
weirdest segue I've ever seen.
Because I'm out of orangina.
And I've had to
pee.
piss for
Not
like the
sponsored.
last half an hour,
Not
but
sponsored.
Okay, wait, here, I'll do it a little bit more satisfying. I'm gonna say,
Orion throws up again.
Orion, can you start up for a bit? And you guys continue veritably flying across the water with Busto's aid. And I'd say around noon of the next day, you spot the outline of Telechek Harbor on the horizon.
All of us take a long rest.
You may all take a long rest.
Hell yeah.
But we will get into Telechek Harbor in about 10 minutes when we come back from our break. So sit right there. We got a quick video for you.
Shit's
and
about to go down.
Shit's, well,
Not really. That was kind of last episode.
I have to pee. I don't care.
all right. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Stay right there. See you in a minute.
See you in a bit, guys.
I have to beat Trevor.
Welcome back.
Hi.
I hope you had a nice break. I'm certain we did. I was here. I know we did.
Oh no, you got more.
I got more
stuff to drink
liquids.
In
Yep.
the same bottle.
You fucking know it, boy.
It's not Orangina, everyone.
Stop saying that.
It's agua. It's not orange flavored beverage.
Generic orange beverage
Number 3.
Yes.
With food coloring number 76.
Fact.
Okay. So
We're dumb.
We're really dumb.
You're dumb.
someone trusted us. We
With a-
trusted us with the podcast.
We did that. That's
Yeah,
bad.
That was a fuck up on our part.
We really shouldn't sell this camera.
Okay.
Amazon should have just been like, nah,
Yeah,
fam.
it's Amazon's fault.
Yeah.
This is
Amazon sold
all
us.
Amazon.
They can't sell dangerous stuff like
We're
cameras.
just. Do you want to? Hey, does anyone else want to belt out a couple more product brand names? Sort of
Oh
things?
shit, no!
Oh, that's a good point.
Google, Apple,
The Nile
no,
River.
Samsung.
Ah!
Who's gonna sue
IKEA.
us over the Nile River? Like,
It was an Amazon joke.
go home.
No, it's not.
I I was saying just a big landform. That's the first thing that
Himalayas!
Andy's. Oh, fuck.
Mount St. Helens. like,
Wait a second, that's a real one.
Oh no!
They're all real!
What I love is, as we're talking, I'm getting these notifications, and I checked, and I was like, is it from Orangina?
They're already suing us.
Orangina is like,
They've already sued us. They're just
Like,
texting us
It's
dates in
just
court.
Orangina just says, watch your fucking back.
Yeah.
It's just dates to appear in court.
There's just
that's all
red
they're
dots
texting you.
appearing on all our foreheads.
Yeah.
Orangina does not fuck around.
yeah, facts.
You've said it like 5 more times.
Yeah.
Orangina.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, what?
It's like Bloody Mary.
Back
That's
to the
why I didn't
fucking
say it in
game.
stream. buddy.
Guys, show.
Oh no, well we weren't paying attention. Your boat got hit by a bunch of
Oh.
Orangina and you all died.
Oh, okay.
No, did the ocean
Coca-Cola.
Everybody roll up a new character.
Ocean
for
became
fuck's
It's gotta be
Orangina.
Orangina themed.
I already got one.
An orange tiefling. Okay.
Shut the
Anyway.
fuck up.
An orange turtle.
We're gonna jump back into it
Turtles are
as
amazing.
you arrive in the harbor section of Telechek Harbor. You see this small fishing town, a humble town that you have seen before. It reemerges over the horizon. Those same small thatch roofs complemented by the grandiose stone architecture more towards the middle of the city of the outpost. What was it called? The Eastern Embassy and the resident temple of the First King. But your main focus as you pull into this little wooden dock is you see Chesnick. He is waiting on the dock for you guys.
Just fucking sees
He
fish
actually,
blood and-
I'm gonna say, well,
What did you do to my boat?
no, kind of what happens is as you arrive, he also arrives. Like, he is walking down onto the dock as you pull in.
He knew we were coming.
Perfect timing, as is a seer.
I love it.
So, as you pull in, the smell of fish and brimstone again assaults your nose, only opposed by the now fading sharp scent of the ocean. What do you want to do?
Hello.
How do we get off?
Nick, go and tie off the boat so we're on the dock.
Okay.
And I'll drop the anchor.
All right. I will tie off the boat.
Okay. As you're bringing the rope down to tie yourself up, I'm gonna say
Sure.
Chesnick kind of gives you a hand.
Never mind. You don't drop an anchor on the dock.
Yeah. No.
I don't know why.
Just toss it off.
Yeah.
through
Yeah,
the dock.
just the,
Yeah.
the dock is just gone.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I'd say Chesnick definitely comes in and helps you, and he just wraps it around one of those little, I don't know what they're, the pike things that you do, the
Yeah. The little.
figure eight knot.
Yeah, the thing
Adrian,
that
what are they
broke
called?
off during Jaws. Okay.
Yes.
My dad is gonna be so mad at me.
So is mine.
Yeah.
We're sailors.
You're
Yeah.
both boat boys.
Shit. No, it's not a mooring. Mooring is a buoy out in the middle of the.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a mooring.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
We know that, Trevor.
Tie it
Is
to
it
that
a
thing.
lighthouse?
Yes.
I think it might be a
Yeah.
lighthouse.
I think it might be a lighthouse.
It's not a lighthouse.
No, I'd say, as you're coming in, Chesnick sort of eyes the boat up and down and looks at you with a bit of a raised eyebrow. He says, "You got into a bit of a rough patch out there.
Yeah,
No,
but
we did
you already
absolutely
knew
fine.
that.
Oh, okay.
You knew that.
You don't go ahead and just say the ending right away. I'm trying to give you a normal conversation. I know you've had a bit of a difficult couple of days.
Yeah. You could say that.
This is how he'd be looking at Chesnick right now.
Yeah.
Oh shit, 'cause he knew, didn't he?
Would you have told him when you got back?
Not yet.
Then he probably does. Would you ever tell him about it eventually if he didn't bring it up?
About what?
Well, I'm trying to figure this out.
So
Would you tell him if he didn't know about it?
We'll just see how this goes.
Because he doesn't see everything. He just, if you tell him about it in the future, he'll know it now.
Yeah.
It's very cyclical. I'd say he probably figured it out eventually. We'll just be fair there. Yeah, but I'd say he looks up at the four of you, and he just sort of steps back and gives you room to step off of the boat.
I just let my funny.
Oof. Get your elbow nerve.
What do you guys do? Say, is there anything particularly pressing you have?
I will get off the boat and I will give him a hug.
He sort of returns. He returns. He has to crouch down a little bit. But then he stands up and he sort of looks at you, Cal. He says,
Did you know?
kind of. He says, I always know, Cal. And Orion, I am sorry for your loss, for everything, really.
Bullshit.
He looks like he's having kind of trouble meeting your eyes. When he looks over at the two of you, he says, "The boat served you well, though." Kind of looks up and just hits the side where you've done repairs. He says, it's passable."
Yeah. Worked well. Thank you. I'm gonna walk up and try to find our caravan where we left
Good
it.
idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna say as you guys go to leave, you kind of, yeah.
As I'm leaving, I'm just gonna look at him and say, if you know everything, you know how important he was.
Yeah, you see him kind of flinch at that. But as your group sort of starts getting away from him, you kind of you hear him go, "Wait." And when you look back, you see he does look like he genuinely feels bad, and he goes, You understand why I can't tell you, right?"
Yeah.
Orion, I have no ill will for you.
You got your boat.
And your group sets off to go get your caravan, leaving Chesnick kind of just alone on the dock with his boat. And you get back to, yes,
I have a bucket of dirt.
you have a bucket
I've
of
got a
dirt.
bucket of dirt. I've got a bucket of
Shut the
dirt.
fuck up.
Yeah, no, you can bring the bucket with you.
That was all improv.
Good.
It's just a bucket. I don't think Chesnick is horribly sad to see it go. I'd say actually he is so uninterested. He doesn't even comment.
What was the dirt even from again? I
It
completely
was
forget.
from
Just got it from the
the
beach.
land around the.
I just
Around
wanted
the
dirt
place.
so I can use mold earth, man. Just in case
Yeah.
some shit hit the fan.
Fuck, I did it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Hypocrite.
Do
You
you have
guys
a black
return
spot on your arm?
to-
Do you have a black spot on your hand?
Okay, stop. Okay, no more.
Best movie.
Not ever.
That
Pretty
one's
good
the
movie.
second one, third one.
Okay,
I don't know what they're
we love
referencing.
pop culture. Pirates of the Caribbean. Are you serious?
Arthur, are you kidding?
I've watched it like maybe once.
Okay,
I
so
want to move to the main table.
Yeah.
we have to update the overlay. So it's
Just put a big X over,
Yeah.
over just where Arthur sits.
Because he doesn't.
Or just
it's
some
his
arrows-
birthday, guys.
arrows
What
that
the
just
fuck
say-
are we doing?
He doesn't know Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't care. If it's
We're ostracizing him. I know exactly what we're fucking
It's his
doing.
fault
Yeah.
for coming here on his birthday.
And if you speak
Yes.
Portuguese, who you should all have
Stop.
access.
Okay,
I
so
don't care if you watch the damn movie in Portuguese. You need to fucking watch the movie.
So-
Okay, Will.
I'm going to go find the caravan.
Yeah.
Hey! You two, stop.
talking to your like.
Watch him
It's like you're talking to your dog.
I am.
Um,
You two, stop.
Fuck you.
yeah, so
Yeah,
you
bitch.
return to the Pygmy House Inn.
I called you a bitch.
Guys,
Is that
focus.
cute little lizard there?
I'd say they're inside.
kobolds?
Yeah.
Yeah, Max and Olivia, Shrike, I think.
Yeah.
What time is it?
It's about like midday, a little bit after, a little towards evening, I'd say.
I'm gonna go to the caravan.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
No, you find the caravan still tied up outside the Pygmy House
Is
Inn.
Milkshake there?
Milkshake is there.
Oh my God.
Is
Is everyone
everything
alive?
else there?
Yeah, it's everyone
Yeah,
alive.
Okay.
All the horses are still there. Weirdly enough, they're all different colors now.
Ah. Oh.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Like they look like the same horses. Their coat is just totally
Okay,
different.
Trevor. Okay.
I'm
Is
gonna-
everyone dead?
No, everyone seems alive, or
For
at least
now.
they still think they are.
Yeah, okay, spells. It's,
blood
it's,
trickling from.
it's a level 10
milkshakes
spell,
now.
guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Nothing
Those
was
cows were
stolen from our
fucking the
cart.
best.
What? No,
Nothing
nothing seems to be.
stolen?
It
Okay.
actually, it's far enough in back, and there's actually. Why did that like scare me? I dropped a mic and it startled me.
I'm gonna mount the cow.
Okay.
I thought you said I'm gonna mount Cal, and I was like,
Just on Cal's shoulders.
that's not what I was thinking. But yes, you can say that.
I'm gonna mount the cow, and I'm gonna look at Cal and say, "You guys have 2 hours. We need
I
to leave
agree.
tonight."
Let's go. Is there anything anyone wants
Are
to
they
do?
here? Or
Yeah.
are they still
Yeah,
out
we're
there?
here.
Is there
Okay, I
anything
wasn't
any
sure
of
if
you
were
guys
out
want to do? Or
I mean, not really. This town sort of blows.
oh, you?
I want to go visit Copper Tongue before
Copper
we
Tongue.
go.
Dude, that's a.
We can do it on the way out. Just go over there with the caravan. Come back through this way.
She deserves a grosser name.
Do I notice if
She's not that girl.
Charles is still guarding the embassy?
Oh, dude.
You have to make her.
Or
No,
they
I'd say walking by,
have gone
it
through
looks like it's
renovation.
different guards at this
Yeah,
point.
it's-
It looks like they've been cycled out.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So everybody get in the caravan. We'll head over to Copper Tongue then. Let's get moving.
Okay.
Alright. Yeah, so you bring the cart out of town, a little bit out of the way you intend to go, and back over that little wooden bridge, parking yourself right at the edge of the more rickety structure that leads out to her little island. And you see the door is shut and the lights look as though they are off. But you're now back in that sort of overgrown garden in front of her weird little circular house. What did you want to do, Busto?
Just knock and say goodbye, basically.
Yeah.
No.
Sure.
Goodbye.
Yeah. I'd say you come up to the door and just boom, 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 and you kind of hear from the inside. You're like,
Yeah.
and then sort of stomping, and
She's not.
Yeah,
so
she's
Copper Tongue just
said
like
this word.
slams the door
She's
open
cool.
again, and you can see it looks like she might have been asleep. She's not wearing those same like nicer clothes, and her hair is just like
She's got
everywhere.
bunny rabbit slippers, pajamas.
Maybe
That's
a coffee,
adorable.
you know, the face mask with the cucumbers on it.
That's so
She's like
cute.
what's her name? I'm watching you, Wazowski.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But she sort of looks up at you, Buster, and goes, "What? Oh, it's you again. Is there something else you want?"
More magical swag. No.
Yeah.
I just
That is what we want.
wanted to say thank you, and we are leaving now for I don't know how long,
Oh, shame.
but thank you. And if you have anything that may help us, I would ask for it.
I have a
Respect you.
big pit outside my house where you can throw that bag of teeth if you'd like.
I'll keep it just in case.
As well, I can't say I'm particularly sad to see you go, but I will give you good luck, at least.
Well, thank you. And I know many people do not like you, but I like you.
Yeah, I'd say she kind of looks at you for a second. She actually just looks kind of perplexed, and then she kind of just nods and says, "You'll do well. Just keep a head about you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna head back. The rest of you, get off my property.
I'm in the caravan.
I'm on a killer cow. She can go fuck herself.
We're just like 20 feet
We're
away.
just like
At the end of her driveway or walkway.
Yeah. I'd say she just sort of reaches out and closes the door again. But I'll give you this, Busto. As she sort of closes the door,
Can we
he
egg
kind
her
of stops
house?
for a second and looks out at you and just, and then closes it the rest of the way.
Alright. I'm heading out.
All right. So Busto heads back to the caravan.
ugliest way I've heard anyone say that ever.
And is there anything else any of you would like to do before you set off?
I'm gonna just start going. I think I want to like kind of lead the way a little.
Ax.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
May I simply-
This is more just a question. Would she have something like a teleporting beacon like Forge had?
That's real simple.
Just something to communicate through.
Oh.
She has a telephone.
She's a pretty good. She's an alchemist more than. She doesn't make magical artifacts. She just finds them.
Okay.
For a clarification stream, just so everyone's not mad at me, I didn't take those teleportation balls that me and Forge had, because out of respect. Because I feel like people are like, why didn't you take those balls?
No one thought about it until you said it like that.
You guys, we can't make this shit up,
Yeah,
man.
you can't.
Like,
you can't make up our fucking
I'm the king of this stuff. I fucking do that shit. I'm always.
We need it, like...
God
Where
damn
did
it.
you take these balls?
Why didn't you take Forge's balls, Adrian?
The way you said it and
The
then
way
just
that you
paused and
walked
went.
in,
Nobody thought you were an asshole for that, if it helps. Like,
No one even
I just
thought about
wanted
it.
to clarify. and
we
of course I had
remembered.
that this had
I
to
was,
happen.
I was just like,
We
man,
remembered.
Cal didn't take Forge's balls. What a dick. Literally. Like, nobody thought
I wasn't
that,
saying what a
buddy.
dick. I thought people would maybe think I'm
Yeah.
stupid.
Well, we
So
do
you had
now.
to say-
That's
Yeah,
for
now
sure.
we especially
Like,
do
So
that.
you had
didn't-
to say that.
You
and
really
clear
should have
that
just
up.
kept your mouth shut.
Dumb.
But
Why didn't you
An
take those
innuendo's worth 1,000 words. Anyway.
could have just taken those balls, man.
Give me my balls.
Okay then.
Wow.
Let's continue the stream.
We are on fire here.
My sling
Trevor.
ball.
I think
guys.
we're all emotionally like fucked up right now, so we're just like trying
With
to
all the
compensate.
balls fondled, all the loose ends tied up.
All right.
All the balls fondled.
Yeah, well
I
said.
say we're on our way.
That's the prologue of the next.
Even milkshakes,
Or not
balls?
prologue. Prelude.
No,
Not
Balls. Fondles.
especially not milkshake's balls.
Okay, milkshake is a girl. Let's continue.
I thought she didn't have udders.
Cow. It's a cow.
You guys.
I just wanted to know
So
if
now
she
we're
had
just
udders.
repeating old arguments.
Yeah. Okay. Let's
Because
already-
you're
continue.
switching the answer on
We've
me.
already done
It's a
this
cow. It
one.
has an udder.
So I can get milk from it.
You could.
That's what I was gonna do.
Milkshake.
That's what I was gonna do on
Why
the
would you name a
fucking.
bowl milkshake?
Because
Cow.
it's fucking awesome.
Okay, guys,
Let's go.
let's move.
Nobody would have thought of that. It's original.
Okay, let's just go.
Episode
taking
18
milk
is
on
where
the
the
trip.
stream.
Guys, shut the fuck up.
Can we go?
We're leaving.
Yeah.
We're heading back through town towards Orion Swamp.
Okay. You got a bit of ways to go.
Yeah.
Just.
If I assume that I'm leading the way. Can I get advantage because I've lived there all my life?
Yes. I'll allow that.
On survive.
So he's the one with the reins.
Leading.
That's
not a good-
That is
It's gonna be
not a
survival.
good
We'll get to that in just a second,
Okay.
though, because I'll say what happens. Your group departs from Telechek Harbor, and you begin your trek back towards Oakstead. The breeze has now died down, giving the vast fields you are now traveling through the appearance of a calm surface rather than a raging ocean as it was before. You camp from time to time and even pass by the remains of Busto's impromptu grass tent from what felt like so many nights ago. But before you make it into the forest proper, you find yourself stopped again at the Prophet's Spire, where you see Graham's orcish friend waiting at the outskirts of the camping area. And he notices your caravan coming and kind of gestures to wave you down. What do you do?
Before we get there, since I'm in the front with Orion, I'm gonna lean over. It's not mine to give, but that hat was the last thing that really meant anything to Graham, so that's one of his best friends. Don't know. Just a thought.
We'll stop the caravan by.
Yeah. So I'd say you pull up to a stop next to Felamy, I think is his name. I'm gonna trust Isabel on this one, even though there was a question mark. And you see, it's this very well-dressed orcish man. His hair is cut back close to his head, and he has a little like fantasy suit on. And as you approach, he kind of looks up at you and sort of goes, eyes you up, Orion. He says, "Did you leave Graham back in Telechek?"
Yeah. Well,
A little south of Telecheck.
And I'm gonna say, as you say that, you just see the recognition just kind of wash over him, and he just, oh.
I'm gonna hand him the hat.
He kind of takes it.
He was wearing that.
He just goes, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry you had to be there for that. Good travels to you. And he just sort of puts the hat over his shoulder into one of like the bags on his back and just sort of turns away and walks back towards the Prophet's Spire.
What time is it?
It's getting towards evening, I'd say right now.
Shall we camp here?
I don't think so. I think we should keep moving, Busto. Stay through the night. Switch on and off. Alright, as long as you tell me which direction to go, I'm pretty sure I can follow it.
Follow the river for a while.
Sounds good. Then you should sleep first, because...
We can stop. She's not here.
The entire time we're moving, I want to stare at the spire.
Okay.
Itself.
So you're just continuing on past the Prophet's Spire.
Sounds like it.
We're close now.
You're close adjacent.
Well, Prophet Spire, that's about the halfway mark, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm fine if we want to stop. Just
It's been like, what,
not
a
there.
day or two since
Yeah.
we left Telecheck?
Yep. Okay. So your caravan sets out from the scattered campgrounds and passes back into the dark forest. And I'd say Orion takes the head. He is bringing you away. You have to enter on the left side of the river, so you're not really following the path. And he begins to wind you deeper and deeper into the forest. So Orion, I am going to need you to make a survival check, but you can have advantage if you'd like.
+4. 22.
20. Excellent.
Also, I rolled perception.
Yep.
12.
All right. So I'd say over the next few days, you travel through miles and miles of twisting oak, getting sort of thicker and gnarlier and more imposing, maybe is the best word. This is only broken by the occasional lapse of sunlight or lonely pine tree in the forest. The air is warm, comfortable even, and the distant sound of the river is, despite everything else, a bit comforting. As you travel, those scattered structures from so long ago when you were out here in the woods begin to re-emerge. A crumbled wall here, a collapsed tower there, all have fallen now to the sands of time and serve only as grave markers. Orion seems to be bringing you it almost seems like he's following the path of most resistance. Like whenever he sees a thicker part of the forest or a bigger bramble bush, he turns the cart towards there. And I'd say you camp a few times. I'd say maybe you might camp. Yeah, you know what? I'd say it's gonna take about 2 days, so there will be one time when you have to camp. So I'd say Orion finds this area with a small clearing where one of those it appears there was a big one of those ruined towers that collapsed and sort of left just this ring of stones with no trees on the inside, but with this big like curving almost dome of trees formed on the outside that provides a really good place for you to camp for the night. And I'd say someone, one of your group, maybe Cal, starts a fire in the center of this old tower, and you guys lay down on the soft moss on the inside here to rest for the night. Does anyone want to forage or do any? Is there any particular downtime activities that we shouldn't just skip over?
How in distance? How far are we?
About 3/4 of a day travel, I'd say.
Like mile wise.
Mile wise? Oh, jeez. God, I forget the number. 20? 19.
Am I within like the swamp area?
I'd say it's starting to get boggy. You're not in the swamp proper.
But I know the area quite well.
You're starting to get an idea of where you are.
If we travel at fast pace, we get taking a disadvantage on survival and perception.
Yep.
Can we get there in like half a day?
Probably.
From where we are.
It's just your danger now is because you don't have a landmark to follow. You can get properly lost in the woods.
Would I still kind of know the way to try to come?
It would be a regular roll. You wouldn't have advantage. You wouldn't have disadvantage.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, since we're gathered around a fire, we might as well go back to our roots, right? Anyone want to tell a story? Nothing? Just a little bit. I don't know. Light in the mood or... You know, we're enough of a team at this point where we should know a lot about each other. Can't be a good team if you don't know anyone.
What do you want to know?
I don't know. Depends on what everyone wants me to know. What everyone wants each other to know.
You're about to learn a lot tomorrow about me. More than you probably will.
Alright, well, everyone get some rest then. We'll keep heading towards it in the morning.
Okay.
I'll keep first watch.
Oh, I'll stay up with him.
Before I go to bed, I would like to talk to my patron.
Okay. Entering communion proper?
Yeah.
All right. So, I'd say you maybe go a little bit away, maybe towards the edge of the tower, and just like sitting on one of the old rocks that forms the rubble. And you're sort of looking out into the dark forest and kind of allowing yourself to relax. And once you reach this state of calm, you close your eyes and breathe in. When you open your eyes, you find yourself standing along an endless stretch of sand. Dark sand, like black glass with scattered specks of brilliant silver. Meanwhile, the stars glitter in the sky overhead and merge nearly seamlessly with the dark sand below. And before you is that same familiar, large, colorful carnival assembled haphazardly across the dunes in the night, with that soft pink light pouring out of the gaps in the canvas. And as you head forward, that sense of nostalgia returns, and the carnival, despite its kind of bizarre lack of warmth and music, does feel welcoming. And though it is welcoming, you do still feel that sort of sense of unease, the surreal nature of it all.
Surrealism?
The surrealism of it all.
The English fucking person over here. Okay.
Does kind of... It kind of gnaws at the back of your mind. But passing through the entrance to this main tent, you see that same abandoned carnival ring, where it really is the sort of ring where you would have a tiger or something, or lions jumping through hoops while there are people in the stands around. But the stands are empty, and the ring is abandoned other than a big hole set into the center. What do you want to do?
So I'm gonna take a coin from my own bag and drop it in.
All right. Yeah, I'd say you pull one of your golden coins out of your bag and you reach it over the edge and then just let go. And you hear, well, I'd say you don't hear, but you just see it disappear into the darkness, and then you just hear just a soft like slap of fabric, and then one of those large 6-fingered glove hands comes up out of the hole with a clenched fist and sort of rests an arm on the edge and then pulls the rest of this long, slinking body of this long-torsoed humpback flute player And you see that same ridge of colorful feathers protruding from its head behind that double comedy and tragedy tragedy mask. And that the hand sort of raises up and opens the coin, opens the fingers to present you with the coin again. And Kokapelli gazes down on you with its two bulbous eyes from the mouths of the comedy and tragedy mask.
Hi.
Hello, Nick. It's been a while.
Yeah. You know how you know me better than anyone?
I've been watching you for a long time.
Yeah. So, I've never had anyone die before. And now people are dying. And I don't know what to do.
Kokapelli kind of looks around and then she regards you again and she says, well, I can't proclaim to be an expert on the machinations of life and death. I do perhaps have something that could help you. And she reaches forward and she puts out one of these huge hands, only a little bit smaller than yourself, and sort of presents it low enough for you to climb into.
Ooh, I will go in.
As you get in her hand, she kind of curls it and brings the other hand around, and then looks down at you, pulling you up towards her face, enough that you can see this sort of, whatever this mottled brown-gray flesh is that's concealed behind the masks, gazing out at you. And then she drops backward, and this long worm-like body pulls you down into the pit in the center of the carnival, and you find yourself descending for a good while. It feels very much like falling down a well, with that circle of light disappearing above you, and then you find yourself somewhere else. You re-emerge into this huge, impossibly large underground cavern with these small pink motes of light, almost like fireflies, floating around and illuminating Kokapelli before you. And you can see her body extends off into the darkness, almost like, really just like a massive snake, and branching off into different tendrils that disappear into the darkness and presumably attach themselves to the cavern walls far, far away from you. And Kokapelli continues to lower you until you are brought to the very bottom of this cavern, where you can see there are just trinkets, like just an ocean of trinkets, like little odds and ends, almost like dice, playing cards, like a table there, a bookshelf there, all kinds of things, within which you can find no discernible relation. And Kokapelli sort of gently sets you down on a fully slanted couch, or a comfortable chair of some sort, and then sort of pulls away into the darkness for a few moments.
Wait, where are you?
You hear it kind of rummaging around, like she's going through the various items, and then very abruptly she just reappears in front of you, very much causing you to jump. And you see, when you kind of startle, this big grin breaks out on her face, and then one of those arms pulls forward and she has a clenched fist again, and then she opens it for you. And in her hand is a small, almost bizarrely small envelope with a very ornate pink seal.
You fuck.
If you couldn't see that, the chair just fell.
I take it. Can I open this now?
I'd say maybe not in this place, but Just for when you need it most, perhaps. But maybe if you do want some advice from me, really not one to talk on life and death and all that, but I have seen a lot of people go. I am one of the younger gods and goddesses, but even in my time there has been great death. And I think when it really comes down to it, Nick, you are doing the right thing. The pervasive theme I have seen is that in times of tragedy, humor and mischief, pranks, anything fun seems to play a great role in recovery.
But the problem is, though, like, all this stuff is happening and everyone, like, knows what to do. And I don't know what to feel unless I'm pretending to be someone else. Like, there was this guy, and, like, I thought that I liked him, but, like, he died, and then I realized that I was just pretending to be someone who liked him, so we would get something. And then there was this other guy, and I just didn't know. I've pretended to be someone for so long that I don't know who I am.
I'd say she sort of pauses for a second and almost seems to be balancing herself on two hands, just sort of pressed into the trinkets. And she looks down at you and says, We all wear a mask, Nick, in our own ways. Your friends do it too. I think you might not notice it, but you can't forget you're viewing it from your perspective. And just because their mask isn't the same as yours doesn't mean it doesn't exist. We all wear a mask. And she reaches up and puts a finger under one of those tragedy and comedy masks, and she peels it away, revealing the same mask lying underneath it. And she says, the trick is, and she clicks it back shut again, is to remember, if you're being really, just if you're going through your life doing something because you think it's the thing to do, for whatever your reasons are, even if it feels like a mask, it's not disingenuous necessarily. And she puts down a hand which kind of lays on your shoulder, which is surprisingly gentle for a hand that big, and she just says, just don't forget to be true to yourself. Don't feel the need to be true for any other reason.
I don't know how.
What do you suppose the advice would be for anyone else? Just if you had to guess. Someone looking to know who they are.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they would, like, talk to their, like, mom or dad, or, like, in stories, a lot of people have, like, people.
She says, you can see her kind of smile again. She says, yes, Nick, exactly. They should talk to their family. But I can see that your problem is you feel you're in a bit of a unique situation where you don't know your family. You don't feel like you have a family. And on that front, I'd say you're not wrong. You don't know who your father is. You don't know who your mother is. But I I don't think they'd be your family in this situation. And she says, those ones you travel with, and in her outstretched hand now you can see this sort of illusory image of Cal, Orion, and Busto. And she says, they're your family, Nick. While they might not be able to tell you the right thing to do all the time, our biological family couldn't either.
But like, maybe like someone that I was related to would know why all this stuff is happening, and I don't know why. Did you know that I can do magic now?
I've known that you can do magic for a long time, Nick. She says, look around. What do you think this is?
Well, yeah, but that, like...
I'm not the one who brought you here.
Did you give it to me? Where is it coming from? Like, why is it happening?
I'm gonna say she sort of reaches down and like just taps on your chest or like your sternum. She says, I have given you nothing but guidance and occasionally bad advice. No, this is a gift of your very own. She says, if I was to have the truest advice possible for you, talk to someone who might be familiar with magic more of their own. Gromit, Mistelena, any of them would be a good choice. And ask them to look at your dagger. Even from my perspective, it seems to be a bit of a focal point for you. It's certainly important to you, and I think if you're gonna find the answers to this, that might be a good place to start.
Okay. Can you bring me out of this hole now?
She says, of course, and she lifts up and extends back out and very gently places you down. I'm gonna say in one of the rows up in the audience's seating, and then just goes down into like a head on her hands, a row down from you, so that your faces are almost level.
You tell me the truth, right?
She says, I am the god of mischief, and while I can't truthfully say everything I tell you is not at least a little bit misguiding, playfully, so don't worry, Nick. Everything I tell you is with good intentions. She says, and she puts out a hand and kind of runs it down like the side of your face, and she says, I've watched you a long time, Nick. I'm quite fond of you. I wouldn't be here for you if I wasn't. And very quickly, almost as though you've just blinked, and you find yourself back, still sitting, but now on that crumbled stone tower. The fire to your back.
Cool. I will go to bed.
Okay.
How cold is it?
Cold enough that you want to be near the fire. Not cold enough that you have to be.
Now. An idea. We're not gonna do it.
All right.
Who's taking first watch?
Me and Cal.
You honest enough to make perception checks?
Go ahead.
Nice.
21.
Anyone?
What's my perception?
You okay, Arthur?
Yeah. Why?
20.
You just look very. You're like.
No, that was very intense. So I was trying to be quiet.
21, 20. Not Nat.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys sit. Busto and Nick rest by the fire. Wolfie seems to be up, kind of just padding back and forth, maybe sniffing in your caravan for treats, that kind of thing. But on your shift, you really don't see much of any interest. You see the occasional. You're getting into a part of the forest that is kind of a. It's creepy, to be fair.
Orion would be very paranoid, knowing
yeah.
what lies around this area.
Yeah, and on that same vein, I'd say you don't notice anything, but you swear you see, like, lantern lights bobbing in the dark in the distance every now and then.
Wisps.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Every time anything like
Nothing seems to
noise,
get particularly close.
a noise or anything, I'm just gonna like kind of get ready to like put out the fire.
So what do you do? Just staying on watch? When are you waking them up?
I'm up all night.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to bed when I feel tired.
Alright. So I'd say a couple hours, maybe
Yeah.
4 or so. Cal sort of gets up and seems kind of rubbing his eyes, and he turns to you and kind of gestures that he's gonna head to sleep, and wake up one of them. Who's taking next watch, out of curiosity?
I'll wake up Busto.
Okay.
I'll make a percent.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do I have to make another one or no?
I'd say we'll keep with your roll. What'd you get?
Ooh.
Oh, no.
9 total. I will. It doesn't matter. If it's a natural 1, Arthur, it's
You
a
don't
natural
add,
1.
yeah.
It's not one.
I'm just gonna say Busto kind of just doesn't wake up fully. He keeps kind of drifting off.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't go to sleep.
Yeah, I'm too.
I got a high perception. I mean, I'm glad the tables have turned when it
Once.
comes to perception. As somebody told me last episode, you need to roll better. You need to roll higher.
Like,
You want
never
to get
forget
good
that.
perception, roll a lot better.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you said?
Yeah. Yep.
And then the next roll you got was a nat 1 or something. I don't know. I don't.
Fuck
You did the recap.
Then I
I
got-
don't know.
Okay, fuck you.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the moral of the story is fuck you.
You're the one that can't say the wait.
All right.
All right.
Dun, dun, dun.
So the rest of the night passes uneventfully. I just punched my mic.
Milkshake and I taking the watch.
Yeah, I mean Milkshake probably doesn't sleep.
But I mean, if
It's
we're
a
gonna
demon never
if we're gonna
sleeps.
get in combat, I'd want Milkshake on my side.
Everyone would want milkshake on your side.
Well, you're asleep. we don't
Milkshake
know.
has no side.
Holding death.
Okay,
Holding death and
Milkshake
destruction.
likes me.
Milkshake is fond of you.
So threatening.
Fuck you guys,
Yeah.
though.
I like how I made this up as a joke, and
And-
now it's real.
Well, I was pissed off about having a cow, and Trevor said it was a bloodthirsty cow, and I liked the cow.
Yep.
All right.
It's Erebus.
Like 13 episodes later, here we are.
Yeah. So as the sun begins to peek over the horizon, Orion wakes the rest of you, including Busto, who pretty much just fell asleep once he got on watch.
I'd wake him up.
He wakes the 3 of you guys up, and you guys begin to load into the caravan again. I'd say. Is there anything you guys are wanting to do, or are you just setting off again?
We just gotta go.
Weather report.
Weather report. I'd say perhaps a bit of light rain, enough to kind of get the trees and the ground moist, but not enough to like hinder your travel.
Won't mess with our visibility at all.
No.
Alright, sweet.
Maybe a little bit of fog.
So, sunlight.
We're going fast, so
Okay.
take disadvantage.
But he already has advantage, so it's
Alright,
just
so
right.
just one.
But I mean, for the rest of us, we're doing perception rolls.
16.
16. All right.
Do you want me to roll perception?
Yep.
Me as well.
Are you on lookout?
I'll just okay. Disadvantage.
Somebody needs to be driving.
19. You're driving.
I'm not. Oh yeah, I am driving.
19 for me perception. With disadvantage.
Damn. Nice. What'd you get?
That was Wow.
Nat 1 again.
Yep, 2 in a row.
Oh my god.
With disadvantage?
Roll better.
Oh yeah, that doesn't matter actually.
Yeah.
If you roll on that one.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
like
worst you
no
can
matter
get.
what, you're bad.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I'm really tired right now.
Yeah, let's do.
Those
Hold on, can we-
exhaustion points are catching up.
Do you want me
can
to
I make
take
an in-game reason?
exhaustion?
Make a Constitution saving throw. That's a good point.
Can I make an in-game reason?
Yeah, why?
Seeing all the woods again is triggering chemicals in my brain that are making me naturally sleepy.
Aw.
18.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, so you're all right.
Dude, I'm getting the fucking great. All right, see.
Okay, I
if
just
I
wanna
was
say
getting
one
all
thing.
shit rolls today, everybody'd be yelling at me.
No,
but now I'm getting
you're
great
getting good
rolls. Nobody says
All,
anything.
all I want to say is you and I have switched places in
Yeah.
regards to rules.
Yeah.
I'm very fond of that.
Yes, fuck you.
Just give me this episode, next episode, maybe the one after that, and then we can switch back.
and then you can you can have all that at 20.
Give me the next few episodes,
Fair enough.
and we'll switch back. Happy birthday.
Fair
I'm
enough,
calling
actually.
the shots.
Yep, that was a power move. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Have we made it yet?
That was a big dick of an energy
Right.
move right there.
So, as you travel deeper into this section of forest, you begin to find that these branching, you begin to find these branching, almost paths of decay crisscrossing through the trees. It's not that sort of wilting. This is just a very much like a black rot that has taken over the forest in some sections. And as you find these, and when you seem to run into these, Orion just like steers you to directly follow them. And once it starts to peter out, he sort of just seems to go aimlessly until he finds one again, and then continues following it. And then from that, the next few hours transitions the forest more into a murky bog with these disturbingly gnarled trees curling into the sky above. And you can actually see like vines crisscrossing back and forth from some of the trees, and the ground is just this like just dark mud that your caravan has begun to sink into.
So much nostalgia.
Yeah, there's also now that the rain has passed. I'd say it rained a bit while you were traveling, but now that the rain has passed, there's this like light fog, sort of at the edges of your vision, and you can it almost feels like there's a slight like just green light around you.
Does Cal, me, anybody notice a fog surrounding me?
Not right now, no.
Okay. Not right now. Okay.
Another thing of note is that as you get farther and farther along in the day, as you're approaching noon, the frequency of those abandoned structures begins to increase more and more rapidly, until you're at the point where they're just all over the place. And Orion doesn't seem to be particularly wandering anymore. He's just straight following deeper into this until you see in the distance those gathering ruins congregate into one, what looks like it was a very large palace at one point that has now sunk directly into the bog, leaving only the tops of the outer walls exposed. And the like high, and basically the highest tower of the palace is still above the surface of the bog, forming really just a small little house, basically. And outside of it, you can see like it has been retrofitted to be someone's home. There's like there's
exactly.
I'd say there's some little things like there are like hanging trees that have been propped up to make laundry lines. There's
Outhouse out back.
an outhouse. There's a
Shrek. Yeah.
I don't know where we put it, but I made a map of the whole place and I gave it to Trevor. Or I thought I gave it to Trevor. I might have shared it with him via Snapchat or something, and we can't find it.
Oh no.
But in front, you can see that there appears to have been a hole just like smashed into the side of this tower, and a heavy oak door has been retrofitted in its place. And as you get maybe 20 or so feet from it, Orion brings the caravan to a stop and hops out. And what do, Orion?
I'll walk up my house.
Yeah.
I'm all happy.
Yeah, Orion's mood does seem to have improved greatly. He actually seems fairly excitable. He seems he's very glad to be back, at least. So what does the rest of you do, out of curiosity?
Follow him.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Detect magic.
Detect magic?
Oh, good thought.
All right.
Do you want me to explain it, or do you want to explain it?
You can go ahead.
All right. Wood, potions, alchemy, that sort of stuff show up in detect magic.
Right. What kind of potions?
You can't ask that.
I can ask what
It's what kind, like.
yeah, like
Divination,
conjuration.
conjuration.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Hard to come up with on the spot, isn't it?
Yeah. Especially when you don't know the names of the stuff because you've only been playing for a month or a few months.
He has a point.
I don't fucking know.
Maybe a bit of transfiguration. Maybe.
I know what's down there.
He is a.
There isn't a ton of magic, really.
It's not.
like
It's not really magic. It's more science. Like,
Yeah.
as in.
That wouldn't pop
it
up.
wouldn't show up. Is the point?
Yeah.
That never happened. You don't see anything.
there's bits. Sure. In this
And
whole place, there is like a light
the
bit
bits
of
that
magic.
you see, mostly under the house.
All right.
So the interior of his house. As you go in, you can see that it is literally just the ruins of a palace that have been filled with basic amenities. There's like I think we said there's like a little couch. There's some tables.
It looks like everything has been found around the swamp for
And-
furnishing, except for this pretty nice looking chair that looks like it was in the palace.
Yeah.
And what did we say it was? It was like black metal or something?
I think it was you have a dining table set up with like some little random chairs around it, and then at the head of the table is just a throne that you pretty clearly just ripped out of the palace for
And it's
yourself.
like a huge throne.
It's big. It really sticks. It's a bit high too. Like it kind of goes above the table.
And if that's not my favorite part of the whole house, it's in like the living room ish area, which is basically where like the couch is. There's like a crocodile rug. That's the coolest thing. If it's not the chair, it's that. And then there's what do we say? Like 2 little rooms,
It's so heavy. It's
right?
Yeah, I
Upstairs.
think so.
Yeah, and then
you
there's
can
a
go
back
up
door.
a little bit to the top of the tower.
Yeah, I was so happy.
Good.
Yeah. No, and I'd say it's got this very ramshackle,
18
rustic.
fucking games.
This very much a ramshackle, rustic kind of vibe. Like it doesn't have proper windows. It just has these open spots, or is in some of them maybe like bars or curtains put up. But it looks homely, but a bit. It's a bit of a fix me up. It looks like there's a lot of fixing upping that has gone into it, but it was just a ruin to begin with.
You guys can sleep in that room, which is basically like a corner. It has walls around it and a door, but it's like in the corner of the room. Couple bedrolls in there. That's my room. When you get tired, just go to bed.
Hey Ryan, can I sleep in your big fancy chair?
No?
Would you be super mad at me if I did it anyway?
Yeah.
Is it like a special magic chair?
Special. I don't know if it's magic. It's not magic if you're gonna ask. That I know of. I don't think it is. You want to sit in my chair? You can sit in my chair.
Okay, I'm gonna go sit in the throne.
You feel powerful. You understand now why Orion brought this back.
Plus 8 levels.
This is really nice, guys.
Yeah, the throne's nice and everything, but Orion, do you have something to tell us now?
What time is it?
Evening. Or no, it's like afternoon, right? Because
Yeah.
it's about half a
It's
day.
like 3.
Because we went
Yeah,
fast.
sure. About 3.
At dinner.
Dinner. What are you making for dinner?
Whatever I find.
Snacks.
Do you want me to come up with you?
Can I?
No, I'd actually say if Orion is going down for food, he's going to head down the staircase that once led up to the top of the tower into what is not collapsed of the palace proper. Basically,
That's
his
so
big fucking basement.
Cool.
Which is basically
Oh
like a
my
room
gosh.
That's
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That is kind of fucking cool.
I mean, I don't care if you guys come with me.
I'll go down.
Yeah, I want to go.
Can I explain it?
While this is happening,
If you would like to explain it, that's
Dude, this
okay.
is
I'll let
also-
you take the reins.
This is
for
also
this.
one of my favorite parts of the whole place. I invented this whole thing like a study hall, man. Like, and I was so impressed with it. So basically, you go downstairs, right? On the side, on your left, is basically a whole wall of bookshelves, and then in front of you is an even
Doesn't explain
larger
his
wall
low intelligence.
with a bunch of shelves with like jars and just looking like experiment type things.
Mhm.
There's an alchemist table, and then like a larger experimenting table, and then there's a little door over here, and if you open it, that's where a bunch of like salted meats, spices, etc.
Yeah, and this whole room is lit by like candlelight and maybe a couple lanterns. So it is
Surprising.
all suffused with this flickering orange light.
And those, yeah, I must have had to relight those.
It's almost like the
Yeah.
word arcane is just getting beaten into your fucking head.
Are any of the books magical?
Orion.
Most of them are alchemy books and hunting books. Some of them probably would have magic of all different sorts, a little bit of all different sorts, especially necromancy.
Orion does not have the Book of Vile Darkness. I'm sorry.
100% no.
The books aren't physically magic. They
And
can be on
the
magic
books
things, right?
that none of them are physically magic. The
Yeah.
books are like history about magic, stuff like that. Basically, like if Orion was gonna fight a necromancer, it's to study his enemy.
Okay.
Do you have anything with pictures?
Yeah, there's a Garfield.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Garfield book.
You can have
Oh
the
my gosh.
Marbield.
But do you have any
Do you have any alchemy books with
Diagram?
Diagrams.
Most of them have diagrams. I mean, some more than others, I suppose. I don't know. Give me a title, somebody.
Diagrams and alchemy.
Diagrams.
No.
Wow.
Elzor's Guide to Alchemy.
Elzor's Guide to Diagrams. It's just
Alzor's
all
Guide to
diagrams.
Alchemy. Perfect. This has plenty of diagrams.
And then I pull out one from the bookshelf that's called Delzor's Guide to
To
Orion would
Diagrams.
never be stupid enough to buy a book like that. Cal might.
Says the one with
Can I
low
just-
intelligence.
So it's the one that doesn't know what alchemy is.
can I just like flip
couldn't
through
do
it?
any of
Just
this
trying to like look at the pictures,
Sure.
basically.
You don't know.
Someone teach me how to read.
I'm going to. I've been telling
Cal
you.
promised you like episode 3, so
Yeah, I
talk
know.
to him,
I know.
not me, because I knew that was more than too
Can-
much to buy.
Can I have book?
You can borrow the book.
Do you need help?
Actually, no. You know what? You can keep it.
Thank you.
I'm gonna look at Cal and I'm like, tough one to read.
I'll try.
It's an alchemist book.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe start with
You're gonna have to
something
teach him the
no.
word alchemy.
I know alchemy.
He knows what the words are. You realize that?
Yeah.
And
doesn't
I'm
know
gonna
how to
kind of like
spell.
jingle the potion that I have.
I know alchemy.
I'm just gonna gesture to my shelves.
Not as much as you, but I know. I like magic.
Can I do something kind of weird, which I'm gonna ask you to. I'm gonna kind of take over your job for a second, and I'm sorry in advance. Can you make them roll perception check?
Go ahead. Do what the man says.
That's a threat.
23.
Ooh. I didn't get
That's
that
cute.
good.
That's cute. Says one 2 natural ones.
Well, he just got a nat 18 plus whatever he
I got a
has.
nat
Yeah.
19, so.
He has like 1,000 to perception.
Well, I still got a better natural roll than him, which means I'm just better.
Doesn't matter when it comes to
I'm
perception.
just better. I'm just a better human
No.
being. Right. All right, Arthur.
They noticed
Happy
something in a
birthday,
jar
bitch.
that I took a bit from an episode ago,
Yeah, that's a good point.
What? What?
possibly on the shelf.
I'd say probably the only thing that you recognize from well, there are things that you have heard of. There's some eyes from some particularly magical beasts, a toe here, chunk of feathers or scales here. But in one jar that stands out because it is one of the only that doesn't look as though it is dusty or with few cobwebs, there is a jar with a little chunk of leg meat. in it.
Ew.
Oh, wow. Wait, how did he get here though?
He snuck away, remember? Like a while ago
Oh,
when we went
fuck,
to the
he
dog
did.
town? Yeah.
I'm not gonna mention it.
You're dropping off your leg meat?
I'm not mentioning it either.
So this is where
Yeah.
you went?
But I saw it. 26.
Yes. I'd been begging to go here for quite a while.
That's
There were
understandable.
a few things I needed to do.
I wish I could
Um,
go home.
Give me one moment. I'm gonna go into like the closet, grab like, I don't know, some tenderloins or something from a deer for dinner,
All right.
and go upstairs. I'm gonna hand them to Cal and be like, "Can you cook this?"
Do you have a stove? Or do you fire? I mean, I can create a fire, but do you have anything to hold it in? I'm not gonna hold it.
I have like a pan.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm just gonna grab a pan.
And
Okay.
Busto's just looking at the diagrams.
I'm gonna cook up the meats with my fingies.
Nick, can you come with me?
Yeah.
That was good.
I
This
was
is my
gonna-
sex dungeon.
I was gonna follow you anyway, so.
Yeah. Can we go outside to the side of the house? Do you know what I'm thinking?
I
is out
don't,
there?
but would you like to elucidate us?
Well, on the side of the house is a little stone.
Oh, yeah. So Orion, I'm gonna say you depart from the main group, and Orion, that sort of merry attitude seems to, well, it seems to flicker slightly, at least. Orion seems to kind of, his walk slows a bit, and he seems to be moving with a lot more gravity. And he brings you around the back of the house, the side facing away from you when you first arrive. And you find yourself cast in the shade of the tower, where you can see a very, very simple stone grave marker planted in the marsh.
Engraved is just NG.
Yep.
Nymphoodle.
The G stands for gnome.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry.
Orion, what do you do?
This is where I buried my wife. She was killed by a wraith 30-something years ago, 32, I believe. I'm sorry I snapped at you on the boat.
No, I don't mind.
Cal said you took it bad.
Yeah, he overreacts.
I can tell. Oh, that felt so good to say.
Just being a good fucking friend.
No, yeah, it just like, I don't know, like I feel like I sort of like know you better now, and it like upsets me when you're sad.
I don't think you're gonna have to worry about that for much longer.
Are you gonna get happy?
I think so. I'll explain more during supper.
Orion, I will still. I still want to teach you how to fight without hurting yourself.
I know. Let's get through this next step, and then we'll go back to it.
You can be as cool as me if you let me teach you.
We can learn from each other.
Okay.
We just have to do one more thing.
One more thing?
I'll explain during supper.
Okay. I put a gold coin on the soil by the grave.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you want a hug now?
Sure.
Okay, I give him a hug.
You can feel that he's shaking when you give him a hug. Not much.
Simulate the
Giving a
hug.
hug
Yeah.
for you, Isabel.
I'm actually shaking.
Simulated hug.
Yeah.
Guys, come on. Trevor, come on.
Yeah, get it.
I
Aw. Yeah.
Love you, Trevor.
Love you too, Arthur.
Well,
I still
nobody
can't do hearts
saw
with my
this, but
hands.
during break, Trevor did give me a hug and said sorry to me, which made me nervous.
No, just saying, I'm like
We're all gonna
really good at hugging.
Wait, what?
people.
Ooh, a butterfly.
Wait a second.
Anyway,
Check
yeah.
my
So
reflection.
a few minutes later, you were preparing dinner, right?
Yeah.
The venison.
Your
What
turn.
were you up to, Buster?
I'm looking at the diagram.
Can I make a
Diagrams.
check to see how good dinner is?
Sure. I'd get a survival check.
I'd have to assume
Investigation.
him being in the house,
Dude, those fucking
23.
great.
he doesn't know.
Fucking A.
He doesn't know what we talked about being
No.
in the house.
No.
Okay.
No, he doesn't have
22
Bad
passive
hearing.
percent.
23.
22 perception.
23.
What'd you get?
Oh, I just rolled a 23 on.
Dinner.
Oh, I thought
Dinner
you got
roll.
a 22 on the same roll.
Dinner
I was
roll.
Like, oh, you
Yeah.
gotta beat him.
Do you want me to roll investigation for?
The book? Yeah, sure. But what subject did you pick, by the way?
Swear, how said indigestion.
Like,
indigestion.
Was there a specific focus, or was it one of the general alchemy?
Conjuration.
Conjuration.
Oh, did you pick? Oh, I see.
So sort of like
I assume it's like a subsection in the book itself.
so sort of like the specific rituals for summoning things.
Yeah.
That kind of deal.
That stuff.
Okay.
As well as and with a subset with a sub focus in divination.
All right. Was there anything in particular you were looking for?
Mostly rituals in trying to converse with higher power, obviously, and also conjuration in the terms of conjuring animals, conjuring really anything that is natural.
All right. What'd you get on your investigation roll?
17.
17. Okay. Yeah, I'd say on the basic conjuration with animals and the sort, you find it seems like the author had a passing knowledge of that sort of thing, but nothing particularly specific.
I did just want to mention, I don't think Orion would have anything that would like go super into depth on that. If the only real things that he would have in depth on is alchemy and things related to death.
All right. Yeah, and that's
that might basics probably mention in some books, but I just don't think it'll be.
That's what I was going to
details.
suggest. Is I think when you're looking into summoning rituals and the sort for higher powers, you don't find anything that particularly gives you a guide per se, but you do find a section detailing the numerous potential side effects and adverse consequences of communion with the more dangerous higher powers, and you see a pretty good collection of fairly graphic depictions of the kind of visceral carnage that can occur if you do that sort of thing without adequate preparation or technique.
All right. Just you'll tell me about what gods that is and stuff like
Sure.
that. All right.
I can give you a specific one right now.
Sure.
Sure. I'd say there's a section on
Did anyone just hear that? I
What?
just popped my fucking ankle so
That was your
loud.
ankle?
That was my ankle.
Jesus.
I thought you just moved the chair.
No,
then
no,
I
no.
heard. Oh.
Dude.
I can pop my ankles really loud, but
Oh,
that was a nice pop.
Continue.
Anyway.
Sure. I would say there is there's a section detailing the more commonly failed practice of people who attempt communion with a Thun while he is still absent. And the general, one of the most common side effects, and the one that is looked into specifically in this in this book, is the side effect where people will attempt communion and they won't have it right, obviously, that they almost never do. And the luckiest ones get off with losing their ability to cast magic, going blind, going insane, while the very common side effect is people will attempt the ritual and then just fall dead. And upon inspection, people will open them up to see what went wrong and find they have just been completely hollowed out. There is nothing left inside of them other than skin and bone.
That is
So all their
fucking
organs.
All their organs are gone.
Okay.
And specifically what this book is looking into is trying to figure out where it goes. And there's some pretty screwed up parts that are detailing people who were forced to attempt these while like cut open just to see what happens. And basically all they saw was when they were open like that, they basically just spilled out and kind of exploded inside out. And it really there is very little in that book that is like, we did something and it was morally right and it turned out great.
And then the only other thing I'd like to do, like during the night, is try to find another book on necromancy.
Tons of them.
Yeah, tons and tons and tons.
Like some of them just called necromancy.
That's
Like,
how many there are.
That's the
Diagrams of necromancy.
there might even be one like necromancy, like death and alchemy.
I'm specifically looking for a book
alchemism
on
are the two big ones.
necromancy rituals.
Okay.
There's
Would you say you'd
there's
find one?
Probably a book titled necromancy rituals. Like, yeah, I would say that pretty easily you would find a book with necromancy rituals.
For the record, Trevor, I'm writing these down just so I also have them like on my character.
Yep, that's
So I
fine.
can reference
Because
them later.
Orion does have like, he fucking hates necromancy, dude. Like,
Yeah.
even if it's for a good reason.
Okay.
Fair enough.
There's another reason why there's a bunch of books. But that's the main reason. I'm not gonna
Nate
say.
gives out entire backstory.
I've already given out what I
A
have
lot,
written.
yeah.
I've said it. I don't know why it was really hard for me to say it that one night. I was reading it,
Oh,
and I couldn't even
that's
get it
right.
out. I'm like, and then I got 2 nat 20s, and it was a good night.
All right.
So you're having dinner right now, I'd say. Cal has made. What did you make out of the
I
venison?
made the tenderloins. I braised them. I gave them a little bit of a nice sear in a pan with some butter. And I also had to take out my ratchet and my rations. What are rations? Are they just like?
Like bread and stuff.
Are they
They're
just
Ritz
bread?
They're like
crackers.
the most basic
That's
non-perishable. So there's
exactly
like
what they are.
there's bread and jerky.
Alright, I'm gonna take the bread, mash it up into a breadcrumbs.
maybe potatoes.
I'm gonna.
Where'd you get
I'm
the
gonna
butter from?
This is
Milkshake.
literally what happens when you're like,
milkshake.
'Cause I was
Ask
like,
a
where
chef
the fuck
what
would I ever
he's
be
I'm
gonna
gonna,
Italian
I'm
butter?
gonna mash up the bread into breadcrumbs, kind of, because it's a little bit stale. And I'm gonna cover it. I'm gonna breadcrumb all the tenderloins, and then I'm gonna go outside. Yeah, that's all I could think of. There's no fucking potatoes. We can't have mashed potatoes.
I was gonna say there's probably potatoes in the ration.
I'm gonna go.
I'm trying to think of any other. There's two more
Made some
vegetables.
potatoes,
Or maybe
maybe some
beets.
asparagus,
I don't know about asparagus.
There's like
some sort of vegetable.
Carrots.
probably roots of some sort. In,
Carrots.
what
little
would be
bit of
the-
ginger on that tenderloin. I could go
I'm
through
gonna
this
grab-
all day.
I'm gonna grab wine because that's something we haven't had in a while.
I'm gonna
Wine, oh my
deglaze the
gosh.
pan with the wine.
Fuck you! That's wine for drinking.
Still gonna deglaze the pan.
what happens when you're all chopped and they're like, so what are you making?
In, well, in
I
Dungeons
have
and
vinegar.
Dragons.
Could you use vinegar? I have like probably a bunch of that.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of vinegar.
Let's just. I'm
Because
just
I
gonna
can use that for
quickly pickle
multiple-
those.
Just
You're
greens.
go
making me
ham,
hungry.
dude.
Let's move
Yeah.
on.
All right. So
Cal was really good
Fuck,
at
guys, we
making
need to go
shitty
kill a deer.
food into good food because he was
who
in
knew that the best meal we'll have is gonna be in Orion Swamp?
In Dungeons and Dragons.
I did.
All right, we're eating now.
Yeah.
Nom nom.
I'm not. Obviously.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Oh.
a vegetarian, guys.
Well,
You're a vegan, bro.
You can eat mashed potatoes, man.
That's it.
you have good berries.
Yeah, that's what I normally eat.
That's so
Yeah.
depressing.
Can we like make like good berry juice or something? Just something that like so it's not the same thing
Don't
over and
mind.
over.
Oh.
I don't like how you're the biggest one and having the smallest portion of
It's
food.
unsettling.
That's a very good point, actually.
Like-
if you think about it, everyone has like
Doesn't
these
make any
giant
sense.
pieces
Like,
of
just
steak.
You're
actual
so
meal.
big, your voice is deeper, and you're having a berry.
Yeah, then I just put like
every
A
night.
single berry, yeah.
It's just like a supplement.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even eat food. I just take
Yeah.
vitamin D pills all the time.
Who needs food?
You treat yourself when you have a salad.
Yeah,
Like
facts.
that's not okay.
So
Like the
Guys, I
weird
had too much to
food.
eat today. I had 2 carrots. Like, oh my god.
That's him eating fruit.
All right. So we're all sitting down at the table eating.
Yeah. And it's like really good, right? Like the dinner that you made is like
23.
yeah. Oh hell yeah.
23 out of 25.
Terrific.
Not bad.
23 out of 24 because that's the max I can roll on that actually.
right.
So, Orion, you said you wanted to say something at dinner. I'm waiting for this.
Yeah.
I really am. I'm telling you. I want to know more about everyone in this group.
The main reason I wanted to come here is because, as I've said before, 32 years ago, my wife, Nayek, died and was killed by a wraith named Mohruf. He lives in the swamp as well. Well, lives is kind of a stretch. His cave is a couple miles southeast of here.
Actually, I want to talk about the cave when we get to it.
Mohruf is around here somewhere.
Just for my benefit, just don't specify.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't fight him alone.
I understand, yeah.
I've been waiting 30 years for someone, and I got lucky enough that I got 3 someones. Well, 4 with Wolfie. Almost 5. And we need to bring him down. It's the one thing I have to do.
We all need revenge, I understand.
I've seen a lot. I'm young. Well, I'm not young. I'm middle-aged for as far as gnomes go. But from what I've been through, I feel very old.
I promise we'll make this happen for you. I hope we all do the same for each other. Whatever we need.
I do feel inclined to warn you. He won't be as tough as the last guy we fought. But he'll probably be the toughest after him that we fought so far. But I think if we all go at it together like we've done so far,
Do just good.
I think we'll make it.
Well, I believe in us, and I hope we do you proud, bud.
After dinner, I think you guys should get some sleep. I'll do the same. Nobody needs to take watch. We're safe here.
That's
Nobody.
The first in a while.
And when I say safe, I mean we're safe.
Yeah.
You may not know this, well, just from meeting me, but a lot of this, I have actually a reputation around here.
Don't doubt it. Quite not very forgettable. And that's a compliment.
The undead think they can't die again. It's not true.
We'll see about that.
We're gonna need to rest up, because if we have this my way, Mohruf will be gone by tomorrow morning. I mean, by tomorrow night.
One morning sounds good to me either way. Remember, if you need anything, I mean anything.
Get to sleep.
Yeah, okay.
Bring your bedrolls in too. Room hasn't been used in probably a few hundred years.
I'm gonna sleep in the chair.
I wanted to sleep in the chair.
We're gonna both sleep
We're
in the
gonna
chair.
share the chair.
Please don't.
Busto.
Orion.
As I'm
We-
sitting in
we
the
need
chair,
to-
by the way.
We need to leave Busto to his thoughts, you know?
Well,
He's
you
a
can
pretty
sleep
private
on the
person.
couch, and then there's 5 other
Hey,
chairs.
we're used to
Come
sleeping while sitting up.
on.
You can sit up on the couch.
What would Busto like?
Busto's just going to go into the room by himself, get a little candle, and is just like obsessing. Maybe even if he's already like looked at all the other diagrams, is looking at a
It's the
third
woman
book.
with the muffin.
The book on necromancy?
Well, yeah. If I don't know if I've already gone through that at this point or not.
We'll get to that. I have something in mind.
Okay.
So what are the sleeping arrangements? You're in the chairs. Orion's back in his home bed, and
By the way, my own bed is pile of straw.
Yeah, that seems about right.
It's the comfiest pile of straw I've ever, like the comfiest thing. I've
But
ever
Cal and Nick, you are sharing that big chair, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cal. Cal.
Oh.
So, we're gonna do something we've never ever done before.
Stop looking at me.
We're going to have another sort of split scene where I'm gonna tell you two little stories kind of at the same time. But unlike the others we've ever done, this one isn't going to be divided in terms of space or character. This one is going to be divided in terms of time. So, our first focus, I'll tell you our two focuses right now. One is on Busto, late at night, poring over a book of necromancy by candlelight. Well, where we'll start is the following morning when Orion rouses you guys for the day's activities. And Orion, how would you say you go about this exactly?
Wake up with sunrise.
Yep.
But knowing that we have a long day, I would try to think of anything we can do to get ready. I would get potions that I think would help us. Probably like very minor healing stuff, everything I know how to make. I would be sharpening my battle axes. I would be trying to keep myself busy by prolonging the inevitable, I suppose.
Okay.
And not waking them up, because I know once we do, it's time to tuck and roll.
So yeah, I'd say you spend. It takes you a couple hours, but you're definitely kind of. What's the word for it? You're kind of intentionally wasting time. But I'd say maybe 10 o'clock.
I come to my senses.
I'd say you have a very distinct moment where you're kind of like you're going over something completely inconsequential, like the tightness of one of your boots or something, for the 6th or 7th time, when you just sort of realize you're not just over preparing, you are actively stalling. And so you kind of get up and you go to wake up anyone who hasn't
For the first
roused
time,
yet.
I'm gonna knock.
Okay.
I can't.
Not us. We're sleeping in your fucking dining room.
Fuck you guys. I'm gonna knock on the door for Busto at least, and I assume Wolfie.
Yeah, Wolfie would be in there.
All right. Yeah.
I kind of want to lift the chair, like,
And
push
just
it
tip
but
them
I'm not.
on
I
the table.
won't. I'll
No.
be nice.
No, I'd say you rouse the group. It's not that hard. They all seem kind of. It seems like they might have already been up and just letting you do your thing for a little while.
I do it as polite as possible, I suppose.
But let's say right around noon, Orion, would you feel like you're ready to bring them down to the dungeon?
What?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Oh my god, he's trapped inside the fucking house.
Previously, last night, Busto, you find something you recognize, something very similar. I'd say Orion probably talked a bit about Mohruf and what he is. For those who don't know, a specter is what happens when the darkest souls, when they die, are given particularly harsher passages into the afterlife, but it is said that the most vile are refused from even the darkest pits of hell, and their souls left on Earth just cave in reality around them and leave this void in the world that becomes a wraith, this shadowy black monster with two glowing eyes being its only sign of life. A beast that wants nothing more than to kill. And Busto, late
Is
last
dead.
night, you find a part of the group, a part of the book. And this book is one of the, like, I'd say this is one you went out to the bookshelf and you found just the, like, oldest, grimiest, least used book probably in the library. And in the back of it, you think you might be one of the first people to ever see this section. In the back, you find a small, maybe 3 or 4 page description of wraiths and their various abilities. But back in the present, Orion brings you back down to his little potions basement, and he heads to the center of this room, reaches down and pulls the carpet aside, revealing the boarded over entrance to a spiral staircase leading deeper into the submerged castle. He takes a few steps, grabs a lantern from the wall, and leads you deeper into the submerged castle. Now you pass through several floors worth of staircases, bringing you down to what you would consider to have been the castle's basement prior to it sinking into the mud. So now you are down probably 4 stories underground. And after 10 minutes of this, well, it's fairly perilous travel because you have to kind of go through these like dug tunnels and over collapsed staircases and that sort of thing. But after 10 minutes of fairly perilous travel, you find yourself at the entrance to a dingy stone brick hallway. And Busto, one of the things that you read in the book was of the Wraith's most, well, its most invidious behavior. So corrupted is its soul that it finds itself almost overflowing, and after the violent death of really any sentient creature by a wraith's hands, as long as the death was recent, within around an hour, and at least somewhat distressing, the wraith has the ability to create a specter from the fallen soul. And back in the present, at the entrance to that dingy stone brick hallway, you find it is lined with walls and walls of iron cages. The only light source is the softly flickering glow emanating from Orion's lone lantern. And the lack of a pervasive light makes it feel as though these walls are caving in towards you, which, if we are being honest, they very well might be. And as you stand in the entrance of this room, you begin to hear a low wail echoing from the far end of this cavern. And Busto, they say, well, something you might know is when a ghost's unfinished business is completed, it can rest at last. No strings attached. They move on, they go into the afterlife. But no such rest or redemption awaits a specter. It is doomed to the material plane. Its only end, the oblivion that comes with the destruction of its soul. Until then, it bears out its lonely life in forlorn places, carrying on forgotten through the ages of the world, completely at the wraith's bidding. And back in the dungeon, a figure emerges from the hallway. Orion, What did Nyek look like?
I just learned so much. She was gnomish. A little taller than me. Reddish hair. Blue eyes.
Beautiful. She's standing before you for the first time in 32 years. And she hasn't aged a day. What do you do?
Nothing. I'm just gonna like
What is Orion's reaction to this, by the way?
he's frozen.
I'm gonna put a hand on his shoulder.
I'm dropping my knees. Drop the axes. Stunned.
I'm gonna say that Nyek walks forward to you, and she kneels down and she puts a hand on the side of your face, and she says, Orion, it's been a really long time.
Yeah.
And where are you looking?
Her eyes.
Yeah, I'd say you can see that she doesn't have pupils. She just has this soft purple iris, blank, staring towards you. Not even, it looks like, looking directly at you. And she says, Orion, it's really dark down here. Orion, how long has it been?
Is there anything else different?
About her? Go ahead and make a perception check.
Can I look around the room to see if anything's fucking like around us watching this or something?
We'll get to you.
Oh,
Go ahead and roll.
Okay.
Advantage because I've
14.
thought of that face for 32 years.
Go ahead.
Thank God. Still sucked. Yeah.
You're just blinded.
Blinded by the light. 7.
7.
And that was with like.
I'm gonna say you're
3 and
entirely transfixed on your late wife's face. So you don't notice anything. But the rest of the group does. You can see that along the back of Nyek's form, sort of anywhere facing away from directly where Orion is looking, she's just flaking away. And this soft purple glow has begun to emanate from her, just sort of starting to fill the corridor around you. And as this glow grows in magnitude, you begin to make out a shape behind her. Or rather, the opposite of a shape. You begin to notice places where you can't see anything. And it's huge. It is a massive, it looks as though it is this just massive, disembodied, tattered black cloak just floating in the air behind her, holding a large scythe with this hood just concealing its entire face, held only in place by this huge black crown. And Orion, Nyek kind of seems to be trying to pull you closer, but her hand has started to slip. And I'd say you notice it now, is her hand is just sort of coming undone, like unknitting at the very like fabric of her skin, revealing this wispy, clawed, almost like these glowing purple bones underneath, suffused by this just like purple energy. And she's looking at you, and you can begin to see this emotion coming over her. She looks panicked, but she also looks angry. And this anger seems to grow. She seems to get more and more overwhelmed by this hatred as she looks at you. And she sort of takes a step back from you, and she says, I thought you fell with it. But you weren't here. She says, it's been so long, and how is it even possible the rest of you just went on living without me? It's not fair.
I'm sorry.
And she takes a step back, and you can see the tattered remains of her form drift away, and the form of the specter beneath rises up in the center of the hallway. And Nayek's voice booms one last time as she says, "This isn't life. This isn't even death. This is hell. And I hate you." And that's where we'll pick up next time.
Oh my god.
Thank you, everyone, so much for watching tonight. It's late. Good night. And I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Oh, God, that's a terrible place. We love you guys.
Bye, everyone. Holy shit.
Are we off?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, from your DM, I hope you have a good night.
See you in a week.
Good night, everyone.
See you next week, guys.
I'm gonna run away before Nate punches me.
Yeah, you really should.